Right. Welcome in, welcome in. Just going to check I have the overlay on. We are good. Welcome in, Dynasty and Beers. We're on, what is it, episode 9? So, I'll have to bust out the White Claw after.
Now? Wow.
Episode 9. I was like, I'll have to bust out the White Claw later, but nothing like a, nice can of Pepsi. Although I normally am like a zero guy.
I mean, like, normally you don't even have a drink on Dynasty and Beers. Usually it's just like me drinking solo, or I know Matt was drinking with me the one time.
Yeah, that's right.
We got him on Dynasty and Beers. But yeah, good to see you drinking something.
That's right. Now I normally have something over here, but I got some White Claws that were left over from a weekend. I like never drink. I never drink alone ever. I basically I don't think I would drink if I didn't go out like socially, but then like a lot of my friends and stuff will drink. So and then I go to like these events with like sports teams, so like end up drinking like that. But I when I'm at home, it's like Coke Zeros, Zero, Dr. Pepper, and stuff. Like I rip
Coke Zero with like the weird sugar stuff in it, and
I rip all zeros. Aspartame. Look, your 2001 studies on aspartame, they're a little misleading. You need 33 cans a day for aspartame to get to levels where it's dangerous. So, 2 or 3 a day tops.
I hear it like makes holes in your brain. Like
if you have this insane amount of, which probably someone does, it's about 33 cans is the equivalent of what you would need.
But isn't it like just as bad as sugar, if not worse? But it just has a different name. Like, how is that even any healthier?
Well, I'm not doing it because it's healthier. I'm doing it because it's 0 calories. It's for the weightlifting and the calorie deficit community. Anyone watching out there, maybe tighten up. He looks pretty fit. So you just understand there. You drink zeros is the reason why. It's because instead of drinking water for weight loss, like when you have water, you'll have cravings for something bad, as any human would. But if you drink like a can of Coke Zero or whatever it is, a 0 calorie drink could be like not pop. It could be something else. But what it does is it really reduces your cravings, and you like taking care of your sweet tooth, and it's really good for weight loss because it has 0 calories or whatever your alternatives that has like 0. It could be Mio. It's like the water sweetener. But the point is like it has nothing to do with the sugar. As long as it's not killing me, the aspartame and stuff, I'm throwing it in there and I'm getting 0 calories out of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe you sound like you know more about it than me. So.
Yeah. I was very wary growing up because my mom, hearing those studies, we're in 2008. She's that stuff it'll kill you and stuff. But as far as what I've known, I've done some research. I'm not gonna argue with the chemicals and stuff like that. I won't go into that. But as far as like what the argument is to begin with aspartame, maybe someone in the chat will know even more than me. 33 cans a day. Just don't have that.
Okay. Just keep it in moderation, Blake, and yeah.
Yeah. We'll leave it at that. But anyways, 0 cal. That's the glitch if you're trying to lose weight. Is get your 0 cal drinks in.
Okay.
So, anyways, but as I'm saying that, we had nothing available. Just a normal Pepsi. So, normal sugar for me today.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, that's what I like to drink. I don't drink a lot of pop, but yeah, I just like the regular stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so we, enough of that. It was a good little intro.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get some comments on that. Not even the actual stream, but just on the 0 versus,
pop and like real sugar versus whatever it's called.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what though, the cane sugar, the Mexican Cokes, those are my favorite. Those are amazing.
Yeah, those are good.
If those were like I do buy those like from time to time because I'll see them like rarely in the store. When I get that, like I would never drink a 0 if I could just have access to straight out of the bottle, the glass bottle.
Yeah.
Cane sugar Coke.
Oh yeah, you can't beat it. A glass bottle, like real cane sugar. That's the way to go.
Yeah. My girlfriend from this, like, I play on this Mexican soccer team, and because it's like Mexican Coke, like they know I love that. So anytime they see it around, like they always like gift me like these like whatever, like the 4-pack and stuff. So they know what's up. It's I love that. So I got a sweet tooth for the drinks.
Yeah. Well, I got some red wine here, specifically sangria. I guess is sangria considered wine? I mean,
That's like juice. Like
yeah,
it tastes like it.
it does. That's why I like it.
Yeah.
It's sweet. It's good. But yeah, I'm kind of in theme with my team name, Drunk Heisenberg. So yeah, I had to rock some red wine tonight.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I gotta bust out a White Claw when I get a chance. We got Fresh Flash in here. I've never seen Fresh Flash before, so let us know. Yeah, let us know. Like, or do we know you from the league, or do you just see us on whatever the For You or whatever page? The homepage. He said it's for the taste like an alcoholic. Oh shoot, because I just opened up the chat now. It's for the taste like an alcoholic. Oh, he was saying like for like weight loss, like the zeros and stuff. Like you're drinking them for like the taste, like to get a bit of that taste and like not be consuming calories. I believe. Let me know if I'm wrong on that. Fresh.
Yeah.
And then D Hutch is in here.
Looks like we have D Hutchins in here. Dalton Hutchins.
Yeah.
He said, "Want y'all's boys' opinion on a trade in another league? How good a return is Brian Thomas Jr. / Stroud / Josh Jacobs or Josh Allen / T Higgins?
Ooh.
Up in the air about it, but a contending team and need running back depth."
I see.
Okay, so it sounds like Hutchins is getting Brian Thomas, Stroud, and Josh Jacobs, and he's giving Josh Allen, T Higgins.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
I don't need to look at that one. I don't need to look at that one too much, unless it's like a really shallow league. You know, I mean, the way I'm playing it is you're getting a stud receiver in BTJ back. You're still getting a quarterback, and then you get the extra player in Jacobs. Like the value between BTJ, Stroud, Jacobs, and T, like it's like not enough to like make me. You know, I don't think it's like that terrible. And the total value actually might even equal roughly the same. But as long as you're in a...
You could probably compare Brian Thomas and Josh Allen as being like kind of similar. I mean, Josh
the way that
Allen,
we're looking at it for reference, because like the quarterback is just so plentiful. So if we haven't talked about this on stream or you haven't seen us, like we're saying that like the receivers like Chase and Jefferson, etc. Like we almost look at them more valuable than Josh Allen because of how many damn good quarterbacks there are right now and how late. And when we get to the looking at our startup draft, you'll see how quarterbacks were falling so late. So yeah. I don't think there's as much of a difference between PTJ and Josh, like you were just saying, as the market would, or the average dynasty player would say.
I mean, I think the question is, does Brian Thomas quite fall in that range that you would consider, a receiver that you would consider comparable to a Josh Allen? Like, does he fall into that quite, like Jefferson, Chase, Neighbors, CeeDee Lamb? Like, I don't think he's quite there, but I think he's like very, very close. So I think it's like close enough that like, yeah, you'd rather have Josh Allen, but not by like a ton, I guess. And then let's see, T Higgins versus CJ Stroud. I mean, yeah, we're not the biggest Stroud fans, but yeah, you got to take Stroud.
But you get a quarterback. You get a quarterback back for the Josh Allen, and Stroud can take a leap back. And then here's the thing: is Jacobs is a great guy. That's like he makes up for those points from Josh Allen in this deal. So yeah, if you got that side, like as long as it's not a start 9, I think it's like I could really argue for your side. And then you could also down tier off Stroud, which I mean it might be kind of hard to do, but if in like startup purposes, there's a lot of good quarterbacks that go rounds later. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, could you get like a quarterback like the classic we talk about, like Goff, Baker, Trevor Lawrence, like one of those guys, like plus a first and maybe some extra stuff on top of that.
I didn't realize Purdy in this point until this point in the offseason, I didn't understand how undervalued Purdy was. I swore he was going to the end of the third last year. I select him end of the third this year in the break room. Thought that was a completely like great price on him.
Right.
He goes in the 4th, it seems like. So and the mid to late 4th potentially. So like I think he's a great guy to try to down tier or two, stuff like that. So you can kind of keep the ball rolling on that trade. But yeah, I mean I think a lot of people will just look at Josh Allen and T and say, yeah, I'll take that. But I'd rather take the side with more there. And Jacobs is like that potential, kind of like the war difference maker. Like he can he could really close the gap for like down tiering BTJ to BTJ and Stroud. Like Jacobs could really for your lineup, make a difference there. So,
yeah, so I think as long as it's a start 10 or more, I think I'd be okay doing that trade. So I don't know if that's Dalton. I don't know if that's like the first offer or if you guys have been like countering back and forth. But if you think, if that's the first offer you got and you think there might be a little negotiating room, I mean, when you're giving up the best player in the deal in Josh Allen, that's when you can get like maybe just like a little greedy. So like I might not be afraid to at least counter and just add like a second, third swap in there where you get a second, you give up a third.
Yeah.
I think that would even put it over the top.
Yeah. See, I thought that was a deal that was made. So yeah, I mean, if you can get anything more than that, I think you probably could, but I still like the return for like team building purposes. Also,
and
fresh.
he says he needs running back, so I mean, to get Josh Jacobs as a contender, I mean, like that's perfect. I mean, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I think Jacobs, like you're really not giving up too many points on your team by getting Jacobs back in the deal. And then, by the way, off topic, Fresh Fox was saying, the Coke Zero taste. So like the taste, for like an alcoholic, a Cokeaholic, it's good for that. Okay. Yeah. Good to confirm that. But so yeah.
We got the startup draft going strong in the listener league. We're in round what round is it now?
11.
Yeah, we're in round 11, so we're about like a third of the way through. We got 30 rounds. And this is probably one of the slower startup drafts that I've ever been in. I thought it might go faster just because like everyone's so passionate and like diehard about Dynasty in this league. But I think what I didn't anticipate is that because of that, everyone loves trading. So, but what's also cool is like, unlike most leagues I'm in, there haven't been like a million complaints every time someone's like taking longer on the clock. Everyone's been like really patient and just cool. So, I mean, honestly, and I've already heard some really nice comments about this league so far. I feel like this is the best league that I'm in, and probably like the best league that I've ever been in. I'm not just saying that because like we created it, but it's just a great group of guys. Everyone's so passionate. Like I've just been loving it so far.
Yeah, no, it's been a great start for sure. So yeah, hopefully we can keep the ball rolling. Because it gets slow. It gets slow in the off season, like every league. So hopefully we can keep the momentum going. But yeah, this has been an awesome group of guys. And then I don't really like. I get it with the whole startup thing if it goes slow. I really haven't thought this has went slow at all. I thought this has been going like. Honestly, like more on the fast side because you didn't endure the startup I did earlier with co-manage with Trent. It literally took us like a month to do it. It was insane. Well, number one, because it was 34 rounds because someone was traded their 34th round pick and wanted to make sure that or traded for one and we're like, I don't want to get cheated out of my 30th round picks.
Oh, jeez.
So we did that, but yeah, that one like Coda was like milking the clock because like people were complaining and stuff, and like he was like legitimately taking like 8 hours like every time, and like the additional time, someone had blocked him and then like unblocked him to like make more trade. It was just like I just like honestly like we had so much time to think about our plan that I thought it worked out well. Like, that's one thing. I like when it moves slow because I could really, like, plan things out. But, I don't know. I don't like if it goes too fast because, like, pick. It's like, no. I wanted to trade for that pick. Like, I don't want, I don't want you guys making, like, 10 picks in a row. Or the other thing around where, like, maybe people make 5-10 picks, like, rapid fire and I'm on the clock. I'm like, no, I want to like trade this pick, and I'm here, but I'm not making this pick in 10 minutes. Like, I'm gonna take however much time it is until I get response from, these couple candidates, a trade partner. So, I've always been on the side of just like, as long as you're not doing the coda, like actually intentionally grieving the clock, like take however much time you need for the season starts in September. So I thought this has been a pretty good. Pace.
It's been like a round a day. Like it hasn't been much faster than that. To me, that's on the slower side. But I'm not saying that as a negative or like a complaint. I mean, of course, like I can get as impatient as the next person, but I mean, ultimately, like it doesn't matter that much to me. I think it's been at least reasonable. And I think for the most part, when people have been taking a while, there's been like purpose to it. It hasn't just been negligence or people doing it out of spite or whatever. Maybe with some exceptions. No, Coda ended up making his pick
Yeah.
after that threat of milking the 16 hours because he had back-to-back picks. But yeah, it's been good though, and it's been fun. And honestly, I've been really impressed with how everyone has been building their teams. I mean, I just feel like this is like this startup, like the teams that are forming look different than like any other teams that I've seen. I feel like we're seeing some really unique builds,
Yeah.
and some really smart drafting, some smart team construction. I think everyone's drafting really smart for the most part, and so I think it's forcing managers to kind of get creative and maybe make some picks they normally wouldn't, or build their team in a way that they normally wouldn't. So I think it's been fascinating. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think we might possibly look at we were talking about like doing the team grades on last Sunday, so I don't know if we're going to start doing that today, even though we're only 10 rounds through or whatever. But if we do that, I mean, I feel like I'd be giving out some high grades because I've been really impressed with how everyone's been drafting.
Yeah, we'll probably more so maybe just look at each person's team, and then we'll leave that maybe for I don't know, after the startup or
because you can't fully judge it till then, but
or we could even wait till after the rookie draft because that should probably start up right after. Probably not take too long, and then we really get a idea of how people's teams are looking after then. Because a lot of big moves can obviously happen, so we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we could try to give like the grade thing or something for fun. Sometime in the future. But yeah, we'll definitely look at everyone's team today, how the draft's been going. But like, I guess before we jump in, we can talk about a couple things, about the startup, kind of like what the trends have been. And I thought like so far, I thought the board was falling pretty damn well, like how it should, until we got to round 5. Then like I thought I got a great deal on those quarterbacks, and I did. Like in my opinion, I got a great deal on the 2 quarterbacks. But one thing that like this is the issue is that when you pass on those quarterbacks in round 4, like I have in the 2 other startups I did, when you do that, that's when all the quarterbacks go round 4 and 5, like in early round 5. But when you then select 2 quarterbacks there or whatever, like you get your second quarterback by round 4 or like early round 5, because that's normally where the cutoff is. Of course, that's when Dak Prescott lands in like the late 6th.
Oh man.
And now I was a big part of that because I had like multiple picks in front of it, but he's just like not like if as a third quarterback in this quarterback market where there's just not too much demand. There's so many damn starting quarterbacks. It's pretty hard to pick a third quarterback with a 6th round pick and a start 11 that's 31 years old and that I think is severely underrated right now in Dynasty. But I didn't want to play that game, so I was part of it. It put me in a tough position because I thought there was other really good equal values on the board, but he fell, and I thought Justin Fields was falling as well, like for kind of where I thought he's been. I ended up selecting him because the players around the board. I just thought he was the best player available at that point. So,
and I think it made perfect sense to your team because, like, what if JJ McCarthy starts out slow? I mean, it's basically like his rookie season. He's gonna be making his first start. So, what if he doesn't? What if he isn't awesome right away? Like, that's very possible. So, I think Justin Fields is like the perfect, at least like 1 year rental if McCarthy takes a little longer to develop than maybe the market's anticipating. And also the fact that you did so many trade backs and you accumulated so many startup picks in that range where you have all these extra picks that you can afford to make a luxury pick of taking a third quarterback, and it doesn't even really it's not even going to really impact your starting line because you're still going to be loaded.
Yeah, it was like, because I had so many startup picks in that range, and I had already created a lineup basically. So it was like, exactly. I can make this pick, and here's like, I don't need to trade any of these quarterbacks because like I'm not extremely highly invested. I already have one in the top 4 rounds. I get my next one at like the 8-9 turn. So it's like, if I actually have to rock with all 3 of these guys, like it's not enough investment for me to be like, man, like it's burned a hole in my pocket. And the whole McCarthy versus like Fields thing. Like Fields could be a day one starter. McCarthy, I can see what happens. Or at that point, I could also trade McCarthy or Fields or whatever too, but it's not something that I'm like planning on doing or anything. Like if I had picked Dak, I'd be like planning to draft a quarterback.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Oh no, when you pick Fields, like I interpreted that as it's just nice to have the depth of a third quarterback, and like I said, it pairs really nicely with JJ McCarthy. So yeah, when I saw that pick, I did not think like, oh yeah, Blake's gonna just taking that for the value and he's gonna try to flip one of those. Like no, like I just think you're gonna keep those three unless you get an offer you can't turn down.
Yeah, and then like when you have Justin Fields, if he's playing good, like in redraft and like underdog. Like, he's one of my favorite picks because he's not going that high, and he's got the legs, and so anytime you're in like the 8th round or 9th round and beyond in startups, it's like like half these players are gonna suck anyways, so you might as well just take a shot on a guy that you think can get hot. So
at least like make a difference for a season. Nothing else.
And we'll get into that, but that's kind of how the theme about how I've been picking in these later rounds have been. In fact, even in the startup. But yeah, I thought the quarterbacks, there were a lot of good values rounds.
Oh yeah,
5 and later.
Bryce Young went really late. I mean, I'm very high on Bryce Young, and for some reason, I think I only have like one share of him now. I traded him in the break room. Got Bo Nix, so no complaints there. It was a big deal.
I mean, I'm like the biggest known Bryce Young hater, but here's the thing: like at the prices that he's actually been going in startups, even though I have actively passed on him. I'd say that's a fine price for him. Like I think that's the right price for him. In fact, like I think he could actually pay off at these price points. The thing is, like my initial like, oh my god, like Bryce Young's overpriced, because like literally every piece of data I saw in startup, he was going in the 4th round with JJ McCarthy and all those guys. But here's the thing: in the startups we've been doing, people have been spurting off not to do that. So I actually think like Bryce Young, I can't even complain about him. So I actually do think Bryce Young has been reasonably priced, though where do you go in this draft? 6th round?
Yeah, I mean, no, I think it was even later than that. I thought it was he went after Dak Prescott, didn't he? Or no? Actually, no, maybe he went before.
No, he must have went after Dak.
No, he actually may have gone before.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. You're probably right, because I remember thinking Bryce Young was a steal.
7-1, yeah. Like at that point, like give me Bryce Young. I don't even want Bryce Young, but 7-1's a pretty damn good price.
Wait, was that before or after Dak?
That's after, right after.
Dak, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a steal. Dak Prescott was a steal where he went in the round.
Yes, 6-9.
And I thought Goff was a steal at the 5-9 where I took him, but arguably. I think Dak was an even better value, and then Bryce was an awesome value as well. So, it's been amazing value in quarterbacks. Would I take Goff there if I knew Dak and Bryce would fall like that? Maybe not. I mean, I'm still really thrilled I have Goff. I do like him better than Dak and Bryce Young. But I didn't know those guys were going to fall quite that far.
If I didn't know, I wouldn't have picked McCarthy, even though I love the hat that I ended up getting in McCarthy because I haven't had any. Like, there's no chance I would have picked McCarthy if I knew I would have had Prescott sitting in the 6 for me. Yeah.
But, I mean, it would be interesting to imagine, like, how the draft would have gone differently if you had waited. I mean, it could have been, like, it's like the butterfly effect. Like, one thing changes, and then it changes a bunch of other things. So who knows?
Yeah.
But in theory, though, I do think Dak and Bryce Young were probably the best 2 values at quarterback, in my opinion, in this.
I can get behind Young being a great value in this, and Tua too as well. Like I've been a pretty big Tua guy for ADP.
Yeah, and also, by the way, for anyone that's new to our channel or doesn't know what's going on, this is a league that we started, basically a listener league for the channel. It's basically Blake and I, as well as the regular viewers of our live streams and a bunch of guests that we've had on the show from like other leagues, and basically just kind of getting our whole Dynasty Savvy community together in one Dynasty league and playing with each other. So we're doing the startup draft right now, and that's what we're talking about for anyone that's new here.
Yeah, and notably for settings, it's a start 11, 1.75 for per catch for tight end. And like there's 40-yard bonus touchdowns only.
Yeah, +3, and
Yeah.
it's a 12-team league, super flex, PPR.
Yeah, all the classic.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not too crazy. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that's really different from like most leagues is I guess is like the start 11 and the big play bonuses.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's pretty standard dynasty league.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I really have thought for the most part, things have kind of went in order here. What else was there? Yeah, the tight ends. I think that was another interesting thing. Was the tight ends?
Are you screen sharing right now? By the way, just
here, I'll screen share right now.
give people something to look at here rather than just our face.
Yeah, I already got that going, but
okay.
Yeah,
definitely bring up the draft board though. Okay,
no, it's already up. Yeah.
Oh, I see, but now I can see it, so that's good.
Yeah, so the tight ends was interesting because Matt had took Bowers and Laporta, and then I had taken McBride, Kittle, Hawkinson, and we were the only two teams with the tight end until 8-10 when Trent took Njoku, and then this run of tight ends just started in the next round, where 6 tight ends went off in the next 12 picks.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, all the teams that didn't have a tight end up to that point, all of a sudden everyone was taking their first tight end there. So. Yeah, that was interesting. And obviously, like, tight end matters here with tight ends getting 1.75 PPR in this league. You definitely don't want to be completely out of the loop there.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, the difference between 0.5 and 2 is, like, so massive, but then when you're at 0.75, like, I kind of just play it like it's 2. It isn't quite, but, man, it's just, it's enough, like, for your flexes where I'm ready to go. Like, I can start 5 tight ends if I want,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, it's exactly halfway.
It's exactly
0.5 and 1, but it feels at least slightly closer to 1 than 0.5.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best way I can describe it. It feels closer to 1 than 0.5. I don't know if there's any yet. It could be one of those things where it's like, yeah, it is in the middle, but if you actually like break down the math, like there might be something that supports, like, yeah, like it's actually like more beneficial than what you might think, like than just kind of being, I don't know, in between. It feels like it's, really is slightly towards the full PPR or full tight end premium for whatever reason to me.
But maybe not everyone treats it that way, so maybe it's a little easier to get an advantage.
Yeah.
Whereas in a 1.0 tight end premium, there's really no hiding it like the importance of tight end. Although sometimes you still find some value on the Njoku and everything. But.
Maybe here's why it feels like the edge is a little bit bigger on tight ends. It's maybe because it's like in 0.75, people aren't drafting them like how they do in the full premium. So like you're even getting like you get like a bigger discount than what the deduction is on the tight end premium points. I don't know.
Okay.
So like, I don't know, Kittle, like I haven't even seen him make it out of the 5th in the full PPR or full tight end premium.
Oh.
We're like, I got him 6.4 in this one.
Yeah, that was nice.
But
that was a good pick. Yeah, you went back to back Kittle and Hawkinson there after you already had McBride, so I thought that was pretty sick there. So, like it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Like whether you're just like, destroying teams like starting those 3 tight ends each week, or whether they disappoint a little or age out, and then it's just kind of like, oh yeah, they're not the impact I thought they would be. But I thought those were all good picks though.
Yeah, actually, just speak a little bit more on the tight ends actually, because I think it's like really important to like understand the scoring when you're, especially if you've never done the scoring before. We are in a 0.75 together. That's the only other one I play in. But like McBride, when you had asked me about him, I was like, yeah, like people take him here, like because you were considering him at 2.6, and it's like, yeah. I mean, that's where he goes. Like I don't know if I'd pick him there. And then he was just sitting there.
It was like on the borderline. Like I think he would have been a fine pick there, and who knows? Maybe I look back and say, I probably should have taken him there.
Unless Marv is Jefferson, I'll be honest. I think it'll be that scenario, like because of what we've seen for McBride. I actually do think it is, because when I looked in a little closer, I mean, he scored the same amount of points in Jefferson in this format. Like, it's insane. It is absolutely insane.
Yeah, but the difference is Jefferson had a down year. McBride had what I believe was his career year. I know you can argue about the positive touchdown regression and everything. I just really think Marv takes a huge step forward, and I could see McBride kind of stagnating, or maybe his production goes down a little. I mean, even if he does score a few more touchdowns, which is possible, although he didn't score a lot of touchdowns in college, so I kind of think it's just who he is to some degree. And I just thought, like, okay, if Marv is the player that I think he is, and he has the year 2 that I think he's going to have, he's going to be the alpha in this offense. He's going to command more targets and more attention than McBride. Also, like, on top of that, there's also a scenario that the Cardinals, like, add a receiver at some point. Like, I've heard Keenan Allen discussed as a possibility. Oh, yeah. He's an awesome veteran slot receiver that could take away some targets from McBride. Or what if, like, next offseason, the Cardinals draft another receiver, and maybe it's a guy who's, like, really good in the slot, or even if not, just another good receiver to complement Marv and McBride. Like, then all of a sudden it's like, let's say Marv's the alpha, and then, McBride and this, like, rookie receiver are kind of, like, vying for, like, the targets after that. And all of a sudden he could just kind of be, you could just kind of get, even though McBride's a great player and everything, I'm sure he'll still be very solid in this format, it might just be a little underwhelming. So obviously I'm forecasting a lot of things. I'm looking into the future here. So, who the heck knows? I thought it was a really solid value on McBride.
I didn't plan on taking him. And then I was really, like, hoping Nico or I was going to take Caleb there. But then I just started doing a little bit of looking. And again, when I'm doing these drafts, I'm basically just looking who is going to score me the most points for, the least I'm investing. Again, like the Moneyball approach. I want to spend the least on the biggest difference makers. And I'm not even caring about the touchdown regression stuff. And I actually did like in season see like a clip for what it's worth, like multiple clips of just like it's just like the most unlucky things ever. Where like McBride's like waving his hand in the end zone, and then the ball goes 40 feet over. So like who knows, that'll change. I don't really care because like when you're scoring 21 points per game with 2 touchdowns the entire year, I mean, that's a guy, that's a guy I want to invest in. So I haven't been really too hot on McBride. It's hard to be when he's going so damn early and so expensive.
Right.
But I think Bowers really helps.
Is that, it seems like year to year, tight ends can fluctuate a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you can look at examples like Kelsey, who are just like, like tight end 1 almost like every damn year for like how many straight years in a row. So there are certainly like guys like that. But like outside of that, there's more fluctuation. You get like the random Jonnu Smith last year. You get the random like Sam Laporta, who's like, stud tight end 1 in Dynasty, his rookie season. And then he just like kind of falls off a cliff and is pretty disappointing in year 2. And so I know the tight end premium helps mitigate that to some degree, but I just feel like wide receivers year to year are just a lot more predictable. And yeah, it was an interesting choice choosing between the 2 Cardinals there, especially with the tight end premium. I mean, it felt weird in a way to take Marv over McBride, like knowing the tight end premium and knowing that like Marv disappointed last year and McBride was awesome. But just looking ahead, I made the pick based on what I think is going to happen, not what has happened already. And so, I'm happy with the selection there. I wouldn't change it. But yeah, it is an interesting conversation there.
I was pretty shocked at like the actual difference making in this format McBride was making, because I didn't foresee myself even wanting him if he fell there, And so I ended up being pretty happy that that's kind of how it went. And then I got 2 trade offers to give him away after I picked him. And I'm like, I'm gonna need you're gonna have to pay up like it's Jefferson. Like, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to. I mean, that's. I mean, we got evidence of 2 seasons now, like since the Ertz injury of like, you just the target hog. So, anyways, I was just like, discounted Brock Bowers. Like that's kind of how I was like justifying it. He scored the same amount of points per game and yada yada. So, anyways, I kind of just got forced into like, hey, maybe I'm a little too low on this guy. And then I made the pick. So, I was pretty happy with how that worked. Oh, we just got a pick on the clock. AR went.
Anthony Richardson.
Damn it.
There he goes.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping AR was going to keep falling and then maybe like double tap the Colts or something, and then just maybe I was going to be QB hoarder in this league and not even know it, not even plan it out.
Right, yeah, you get the mobile ones too with like Fields and AR. That would have been fun.
I just had too many.
I'm starting to lose faith in AR with the injury now. Like, I really expect Daniel Jones.
It's really up in the air. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we haven't talked about this. I think Daniel Jones now, like, who the hell even knows if AR is even playing because of this injury. Yeah. Like,
Exactly.
but that's the thing is like I wasn't gonna draft AR probably even at this 11th pick, but I was like, man, like he legitimately might fall to 12 and beyond. Like I was kind of just seeing, all right, like how far can I push this because I don't even need a quarterback. But yeah, I think the market's coming down. Like I understand the AR thing now because it's like he's not even gonna probably play week 1. Like who knows what's gonna happen? So I mean, like now Daniel Jones, I'm pretty interested to see where he goes because he's obviously
Yeah.
like projection wise gonna play at week 1, or don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think he's basically the Colts starting quarterback at this point. So yeah, it will be interesting to see where he goes. Like, I don't know how many teams in this league still need a quarterback, but it might just be one of those things where just on value at this point in the draft, like you get a chance for a starting NFL quarterback with good weapons around him. You know, he's in a new landing spot, new environment, chance to maybe be one of those reclamation projects like we seen with like from Baker Mayfield and Geno Smith and guys like that in recent years. So who knows? Like, I mean, I don't think Daniel Jones would be a bad pick anywhere at this point.
Oh yeah, no. Like if you can get a guy that's gonna start week 1 that has legs, some decent
exactly.
weapons around him, obviously the addition of Warren, makes you feel better. So, yeah, he could be interesting for sure. But yeah, AR off the board there. Yeah, that's kind of one I was wondering, like, when's someone gonna take him? The week 1 stuff, it's not looking good because it's that same throwing shoulder. But my AR hopes and dreams, like as far as like if he's on the field, I'm gonna keep my eye very closely on him this offseason just to see how low he gets, because like, can you imagine like right now I don't think like Jones has come up high enough. But like if AR keeps tumbling, like that could be like the cheapest quarterback room ever to lock up with legs.
Oh, yeah, if you get both of them.
Yeah, and it's like one of these guys is probably going to hit pretty good, and then maybe you get the scenario where they both kind of split up and double your money up. So that would be an interesting room to invest in.
Yeah. Also, I made an interesting trade here last night. Kind of an unexpected trade for me. I think there was definitely some surprise in the league chat after I made this deal.
Yeah.
I sent away my 26 first, which I don't think I've ever done in a startup. I'm usually acquiring extra 26 first, the way I like to do my startup drafts. But I don't know. I was drinking some sangria last night, and I was kind of
drunk Walter.
I was channeling
drunk
my life there, and it was kind of in a spot where I didn't have any picks, and I'm seeing some holes in my lineup, and I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice to have a couple extra picks here.
Yeah.
And Augie had sent me the offer, and he ended up pulling it, but he basically offered me like the back-to-back picks of 9, 12, and 10 and 1 for my 26 first. And anyways, as we were getting close there, and I was kind of seeing the players on available on the board, I decided to, I guess, counter, even though he had pulled the offer. And I added a swap of I would receive a 14th round pick and give him my 18th round pick, and he accepted that. So yeah, we got the deal done there. And with the back-to-back picks, I went with 2 rookie picks there. It was the 205 and 206. So yeah, not a trade I would normally do, but this is a low buy-in league, $30. So I was just kind of feeling a bit YOLO at the moment. And but yeah, what did you think about that trade?
Yeah, I mean, just in general, the sending a first away, and you even said it, like you haven't even done it before in a startup, so like, just off principle, like I'm probably not gonna like it. And then the picks are one thing, but it's like, yeah, well, then what do you do with the picks? So then that makes it even more interesting. Is what you did the picks was took rookie picks. So like, yeah, I mean, if I could trade the 205 and 206 into a first in a startup, if I could do that. Because it's the startup and I have access to all these like trade resources and like ways to fill your lineup and get creative. Like I would rather the first, just and then you added some 14th to 18th, which is something. But like in general, if we just boil it down, I would just like rather have the first, even if it's my own, because like those 2 seconds could be more value, like, or equal the same value just in general as a late first. But like, what if things go really bad? Like those 2 damn seconds, like even if they hit on players, like that's not equal in the 103 or something next year. So, I mean, I always play worst case scenario when like trading these. So.
Right.
And then when I'm trading for these picks, like let's just say you make them. Like if I'm doing the move in your eyes, like I'm playing pessimistic on that. I'm going like, what are the range of outcomes? Like like what if I draft 2 Jalen Polks or something?
Sure.
So yeah, I mean I think you could definitely make it work. You could have someone fall to you. You could get a couple nice receivers or running backs there. So like. I can't feel too strongly about it overall because you're playing the mystery box game.
Yeah. And yeah, it's not a trade I would necessarily recommend. Don't try this at home for sure. But I thought it was something I could pull off, and I do like the prospects that are likely to be there, the 205 and 206. I think I'll have the choice of a few players there that I'm pretty high on. So I get 2 shots there. I also get the 14th round startup pick. We'll see who that ends up being. But I just kind of felt like, normally that's not what I would want to spend a first on, even if it's late. But if it is late, I don't mind taking the multiple shots. It almost feels like a 3-for-1. By the time you get to like the 18th round,
yeah.
Who the heck is even available there at that point?
We just got Daniel Jones in the 18th, but yeah, obviously not gonna now.
Okay,
but yeah, here's the. By the way, here's the. I don't know what the term is for this, but like, I don't know, it's like the paradox or something like that. But it's like, like the 18th round, like no one cares about that. But when you're in the 18th round, it's like, dude, like. Yeah. I need these picks, like, and then you're in the 20th.
I know, you're right.
And then you're in the 23rd round. You're like, dude, where's my 23rd round pick? So yeah, it's always funny. But
now that you have this deep sleeper still on the board, how is he still here? I need to trade up.
Yeah, because I'm like guy. the 14th and 18th. That's something. But hey, when you're in the 14th round, I'm gonna want a 14th round pick. So like, obviously, like it definitely is something. It's certainly a notable boost.
The 14th round pick should be completely overlooked here. It's not just the. Rookie 205, 206. I also get that 14th rounder, and I give up an 18th, but whatever. It kind of feels like I'm getting 3 shots instead of 1. Of course, if I kept the first, if I had kept that until it's on the clock next year, I could trade off of it and turn it into 2 or 3 picks then. But I just kind of felt like I really liked the way my team was coming together. And yeah, I guess you could argue, could I have spent that 26 first on something else? Could I have used that to toward trading for a stud player or something better?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It felt like the offer was basically my inbox, and it was just what the heck, I just kind of felt like it could work for my team. I wasn't, I probably shouldn't have done it this way, but I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to draft there once I had sent the offer out and it was accepted. I had a feeling it was probably going to be either I just double tapped the rookie picks or maybe double tapped running back, because that was the thing that was missing from my lineup there. So I could have gotten whoever was on the board there, like a Tony Pollard and Brian Robinson type, double tap there, just to kind of fill up my lineup and okay, now it's complete, I can contend here. But either way, I felt like I could make it work, and I just kind of felt like it was just a fun opportunity in the heat of the moment to just kind of take my team to the next level and just kind of have some fun. And that's what this league is all about. So, not the greatest trade in the world, but I think I'll make it work, and I think it'll work out just fine for me.
Oh, yeah. I think the best way to describe this trade is, well, it's truly a mystery box. I cannot tell you if it was a good or bad one, because I have no idea what's going to happen, especially because you drafted the rookie picks. But here's the philosophy for anyone watching of why I wouldn't do this trade. Even in a fun league, I probably still not gonna do it. But here's why though, and I do this on different varying levels of we're talking about a first round pick here, but to acquire a first round pick, it's pretty damn difficult, right? But to acquire in comparison, you got 2 seconds. To get a second, it is so much easier to get than a first, for example. So I'm always prioritizing the first whatever, but that's pretty simple. Obviously, it's much better. But the point is, like, in these startups, the way that, like, when you make trades, if you can get a second, like a third swapped into a second, like, you want to make that swap rather than just add a third. And the reason because of that is because a third you can just get from, like, swapping a couple picks. A third's so replaceable, but, like, oh man, in comparison, it's really hard to get a second. Like, you actually have to go a huge trunk, and then same going with the first. It's like, holy crap, you have to jump so far. So just off, like, the philosophy and strategic wise, if it's a move 2 where it's, like, filling out your lineup, it's pretty damn easy to get people to fill up your lineup. Even in round 18, there's literally players. So it's like, it's hard for me on that side, but you certainly, if you hit on whatever it is you're doing, I mean, you could have just traded away the 112 and got 2 players worth of first in the long run.
Yeah,
so it's an interesting one.
Also, I'm not going to completely give away all my predictions here, but just looking at the rookie draft board already, we're using that South Harmon tool where it tracks like the rookie picks in the draft, like when you draft the kickers, and just looking at the picks that have gone and who has which picks. I think it's going to be a very interesting rookie draft. Of course, things could always like change. People like trade around and everything, which I'm sure will happen. But just looking at it now, like if there isn't too much in the way of trading, I think it could be a very interesting way that the board falls in the rookie draft. I could definitely see some value falling. Just kind of knowing some of the tendencies of some of the managers at some of these spots in at the rookie picks. And I think there could be some value there where, I mean, I don't want to say like they're going to be like that. Those like early to mid seconds are going to feel like, late first round picks, but it could kind of feel like that. And maybe I'm just high on some of the players that might fall there. So that's all I'll say. But I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Yeah, I'm sure this is a trade I'll look back on and either hugely regret or I'll be like, hey, it actually worked out pretty well for me. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. It's just one of those trades where there's really no saying. So it's a pretty fun one overall.
That's something I would recommend. But if you're more experienced in Dynasty, sometimes you can afford to just like say YOLO and take some calculated gambles like that. Yeah,
and then basically.
We got Reed in the chat here. He says yo. So yeah, good to have you here, Reed. We had him on a live stream pretty recently. That was a lot of fun having the Duncan brothers on. We made the 3-way trade with me and Randy and Reed there. That was a lot of fun, and it's been good having them in the listener league. They're the Salamanca twins is their their new team name.
Is it?
So we kind of got a thing going. I made the suggestion, and it was kind of inspired, I think, by Matt to a degree, because he was kind of starting the Breaking Talk, which kind of inspired my team name of Drunk Heisenberg. But basically, I had the idea that wouldn't it be fun if like everyone's team name in the league was inspired by a favorite character of theirs from a TV show or movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change mine to Hank Schrader because I'm gonna put those boys down.
Well, we were saying in the chat that Coda was kind of the ASAC Schrader of the league.
I see. Yeah,
just because he likes to clown around. And
I call him more like Badger.
Badger?
Yeah.
Wait, which one's Badger? He's
the guy with the crossbow that gets left out in the desert with Jesse. It's Jesse's friend.
Okay.
He's one of like the.
Oh, Badger. Yeah, I can picture him. Yeah, for sure. He has that very distinct voice.
Yeah. I look good more like a Badger.
Oh God, I can see that.
Yeah.
Maybe kind of a mix, but I could see some Hank Schrader comps as well.
Yeah. I give Schrader closer. If anyone we interviewed, Joey, I think I could get more vibes from Joey to be Schrader.
Okay, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought of that, but I can kind of see that. Yeah. I can see that.
But you said, remember, wears his heart on his sleeve. Not afraid to tell you his opinion. So
right. Yeah.
That'll be my comp.
And then we got Sebastian here in the chat. He says Ramsay Bolton, Game of Thrones. Yeah, I've never watched Game of Thrones. I'm out of the loop on that one. I've
never seen it either. I tried watching it, but it didn't have the translation for like the made up language going on. So I just had no idea what was going on. I couldn't.
Okay.
I couldn't understand it, and also Reed had mentioned, has to be Breaking Bad. Dan and I actually co-manage in a league that I commission called Walter White's Lab, and we're gray matter technologies.
Yeah, because we co-manage, so we thought it was the perfect team name, teaming up just like Walter White and what was the other guy's name?
Shoot, he had a weird name.
It's on the tip of my tongue. If anyone in the chat remembers that guy's name, but
Elliot.
Elliot Black. Yeah,
it wasn't a weird name, but the girl's name, the wife's name is Gretchen.
Okay, yeah.
That's kind of a weird one.
But yeah, I thought that was the perfect name for us in that. Yeah, I mean, it'd be weird to have. I guess it'd be weird to have like 2 Breaking Bad themed leagues. But hey, if everyone wants to do like all Breaking Bad characters, like I wouldn't argue against it. I mean, Reed just said in the chat, best show ever.
Can't get enough Breaking Bad.
I might have a few shows I'd put above Breaking Bad, but it's definitely up there. I mean, it's probably on the Mount Rushmore. Wait, how many presidents are on Mount Rushmore? Is it 5 or 4?
I think 4.
4. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would I have a top 4? I mean, it'd be damn close. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely in the television Hall of Fame. In my book.
Yeah, I love Breaking Bad, and then also. Read this is a good one. This is actually a good one. I can see it. Coda is Hank's wife.
Oh yeah,
Marie. Marie. By the way, I was already I forget what it was, but I was gonna make a meme where you can kind of customize it yourself. And I forget what it was about now, but basically it was gonna be they're not rocks, Marie. They're minerals.
Oh, yeah.
But it was I forget what it was I think this is what it was. It was gonna be about the Kyle Pitts and the untradeable players, all those players in there. And it was gonna be they're not roster cloggers. They're league winners. Right. So that would have been funny, but maybe just for the memes, I'll have to cook that one up anyways.
Yeah. And then let's see what else we got in the chat here. Reed says I love Badger. That's funny. Reed would like Badger.
Yeah.
That seems on brand for Reed.
Yeah. Skinny P, or Skinny P, and then of course Seb is Tuco.
Tuco,
that one was too good.
You were the first one to say that. I thought that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, I mean that one's just too obvious. It's just
kind of impulsive, spur of the moment, just go for it,
Yeah. Jacob, I mean, now we gotta start coming up with now we gotta start, coming up with comps. Maybe we'll do that for another stream or something. We'll plan it all out. We gotta give everyone a Breaking Bad.
Yeah, what
comp.
Character would they be?
Character
who matches their personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and then if
Reed it asks what we think of his squad so far. So since he asked, do you want to pull the team and give him some analysis here, a little breakdown?
Yeah. We'll start with him, and then we'll go from their team to team. But I was gonna mention Reed. Have you seen? Now I'm blanking.
What TV show?
Severance. Have you seen Severance? Because Joshy was the only one in my break room Severance themed other league I commissioned, and I didn't even know he had saw it, and he said he came up with a really good team name that was the board, and because we were commissioners anyway, so and we were combined, so it was a really good team name he came up with. So I thought it was pretty good, but yeah, Severance is up there as well. With just love that. It's just an awesome world. So definitely.
And we got Jared here in the chat, aka Colossal Tighten Up. He says, "I think I would be Saul Goodman." Interesting. I can kind of see that. So I feel like Jared kind of got that charm and charisma, so I can kind of see Saul Goodman there.
Yeah. Oh, that's too. Yeah, we got to start coming up with comps. I'm gonna start writing those down for next week or something. And then
it was great having Jared on Dynasty Ghost last Sunday. So yeah, thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, let's take a look at these teams, and then also just asked what what we play on Xbox. I was a big Madden guy. Like played a lot of like competitive Madden for. I mean, I played Madden a long time for like a decade plus, but like I played really competitively during COVID, and then like I just kind of stopped doing that because it was just like not having fun. Shifted to like actually like shifted to Dynasty pretty much instead of that, and then yeah, play some Siege and NHL and stuff like that. Like Trent and I play that. So
Yeah, I've never owned an Xbox, but I've owned a lot of the other systems. I don't play a lot of video games anymore, but every once in a while, I'll like kind of bust out some of the old school systems. Like, my brother and sister like came to visit me because like I live a few hours away from them. We had like a siblings weekend, and so like we busted out like the Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis and like really ancient systems like that. So just kind of be nostalgic. Yeah, the newest system I have is like a PlayStation 3, so yeah, which is pretty, I guess,
yeah,
which is pretty old at this point. But yeah, I enjoyed, playing Madden on that back in the day. I haven't played Madden in a long time. I did play in a Madden tournament once, did win the first round, got knocked off in the second. But I do like Call of Duty. I'll still play that once in a while on the PS3. Like, I don't even know if you can do online anymore on that, or if like the servers
no,
are down.
no, those are like you're like 2 generations behind at that point. Like that's. No,
Yeah,
you couldn't dream of it.
I used to do some of the online there, but you can still
Yeah.
play like the zombie mode, like
Yeah.
offline. I love that. Love the zombie mode.
Oh yeah, no, love all the zombies. Like even back to World at War.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, and then what's it? Oh yeah, and then Reed was saying, stop playing Marvel Rivals. Yeah, my brother is insane at Marvel Rivals. He's like a big PC gamer, and like, yeah, he's always in tournaments there. And then Randy's crack at Siege. We'll have to put that to the test, or not the test, but team up, because Trent's pretty good too. I don't know if he's been playing recently. I'm awful at Siege. It's like one of those games I just cannot. I'm just like not great at like first person timing shooters. I'm really good at battle royales. So we'll have to get a stack going if you're playing Siege as well, Reed. Trent's brother is also really good, so we'll have to team up. If you got a PlayStation or Xbox, I guess it doesn't matter. Siege custom game, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm getting cooked in that, but all right. But yeah, we'll be on opposite teams then if you're bad, but we'll figure that out because I bet Trent will like the sounds of that, teaming up some Siege. So let's look at your team though.
Yeah, so this is not only Reed's team, but of course his brother Randy as well. They're the
That's right.
Co-commissioners, the Salamanca twins here. So yeah, they got a pretty interesting build here. I like what they've done. What are your initial thoughts on this, Blake?
Yeah, this is an interesting build. I will say like this in a vacuum is like kind of like the opposite of how I would draft. Like just of how my strategy would be in like building a team, but it doesn't mean it's bad by any means. Like, I mean, you got Bijan, Gibbs, and I thought the AJ Brown pick was really good. I actually was really considering selecting him before I ended up trading back, because I thought he really could be a difference maker, kind of like that late in 311. I mean, I think it's a pretty good team. You got a good value on Young, which really stands out. Penix could be a really good value.
Of course, they got Bryce Young that we were talking about earlier. Value. I love that pick.
Exactly. I'd say like the one pick I just like wouldn't have made at all or even considered was the Jacobs one, and everything else looks pretty good to me. I
didn't love the Terry McLaurin pick. That I don't think it was a bad pick. I thought it was fine. Like you guys need a receiver. Like Terry McLaurin's really good. Should be good for at least like another couple years or so. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd have to look at like what other players are still available. But like I probably, especially since you already had AJ Brown, who's like starting to get a little up there in age, like I probably would have rather have paired with like a younger receiver that maybe would give you like close to the points of Terry McLaurin if there was one available. Maybe there wasn't. But I definitely thought it was a solid pick, and I guess it did fit your team very well because I mean it's definitely ready to win now. So maybe you just don't want to mess around, just throw in Terry McLaurin there. You're going to get some good points. So definitely didn't think it was a bad pick. It just wasn't necessarily the pick that I would make. But I really like their team. I like the Tucker Kraft pick. Of
Yeah.
course, they were talking up Tucker Kraft when they were on Dynasty Ghost with us a couple weeks ago, and they made some pretty good arguments there. Like I was kind of feeling like, man, I might need to send out
Yeah.
some offers for Tucker Kraft after I was like talking to them.
Yeah,
So
I
I thought
honestly, I kind of just forgot about Kraft because I've been so focused on like all these other tight ends that I really like that
okay.
like I
I was
really
eyeing
like.
him.
Yeah, I know. I had remembered him in this draft though, because like
Yeah.
other drafts I had just completely forgot about, and he was going like earlier than the tight like Njoku's and stuff I like just slightly earlier. So
Right.
it's been hard to like target him, but I really have my eye on him here. But ultimately, I just like I was like I got 3 tight ends. I'll get one like later if I want to add another one. So yeah, I thought the Kraft pick overall is a pretty solid pick, and like especially in this format where he
What was it? 8-12 there.
eight
Am I reading
12.
that right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought that was a really nice value, and yeah, there may have been a time where Tucker Kraft was kind of being overvalued and like overdrafted, but kind of seems like he doesn't get talked about a lot anymore. He's kind of been
No.
almost like forgotten about a little bit, so he could be very sneaky.
yeah. I mean, just the way that he scores points because is actually pretty good. Because yeah, I mean, he's actually kind of like the Jonnu Smith, but if he got a little bit more volume, it would be nice, or a little more design stuff. But like a lot of the catches he makes are at the line of scrimmage, and then he led the league in yards after catch last year, and you can see why when you watch. He's insane.
Yeah, so maybe he gets some of those big play bonuses. Maybe he gets a few of those 40-yard touchdowns, get the +3 in the scoring. So yeah, I thought that was a nice pick, and yeah, I just think it's a really fun team overall. I really like it, and I mean I think Penix has some nice upside, and I think he'll also score points right away. And of course, I love Bryce Young. So yeah, Keon Coleman, where'd you get him? Was that
It was 10-12, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's not a terrible value. I mean at that point, like I mean there's almost like no such thing as a bad pick. So at least he's young. He showed some flashes as a rookie, so I don't hate that pick for sure. So yeah, overall I really like the team, and yeah, just to kind of maybe if I can kind of clarify Blake's comment a little bit, if I can take that liberty, I don't think you meant that as an insult. That like it's it's the opposite of the way you would build a team. I mean sometimes the way the board falls to you, it doesn't allow you to build the team the way you would want to in a perfect world. Sometimes you have to just take what the board gives you and adjust, change your plan based on what's falling to you. And I think they did a good job of that. Like who knows? Like maybe they would prefer to build their team differently than that, but maybe they're just taking the value on the board, and this is the way it turned out. And I think they did a really nice job.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean that's what I mean. Like overall, like I think they drafted pretty good. And I mean normally in this year you're not getting Bijan and Gibbs at 11 and 12. I could argue for or against those picks and stuff like that, like or like their ADP, and it doesn't really matter to me. Like normally you're not starting with those 2 running backs, so like if you can start a draft with those 2 right now, I mean that looks pretty damn good for a contending team. So yeah, to kind of get the team built around them, like I think it's been pretty good. The Keon Coleman one Reed was asking is pretty interesting because like he's just a guy that like this offseason, he's just like one of those players I see it and I'm like, someone please pick him. Like please pick him. Do we have him on that unmovable draft? Because if we didn't, that was a mistake. Like he should have been in that untradeable asset thing. And I just like I don't know, like he could be a year 2 breakout, could be completely wrong, but like the path for him is like the slot, and then not only do they have Khalil Shakir, who had a really good season, like solid season from NFL standards as well, just like owns the slot. They actually have Elijah Moore now too, so like there's like really no path to like getting that slot usage. So he better figure out how to be an X receiver and quick, otherwise it's gonna be he's gonna be the next Mingo or whatever. But it is a big play bonus league, so if you hit, or he keeps kind of splashing on those big plays, like I can understand the bet on him.
Yeah, and also speaking of, or I guess opposite of the most untradeable assets in Dynasty, if we were to change that conversation to basically the players that are like hardest to trade for, I think I have a good candidate for that.
Okay.
Isaiah Likely. Have you ever seen
yeah.
Isaiah Likely moved in a trade before in any Dynasty league you've ever been in?
No. I actually was trying to buy some this offseason.
You can.
No, you can't.
Like,
yeah.
he's impossible to buy. Like, sure, okay, if you threw like, I don't know what it'd even take, but like just for fun, like, okay,
Yeah.
2 first-round picks or something like completely
2
absurd.
seconds.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, of course there's a price you could buy him, but like it's gonna take like a massive overpay.
Yeah.
I mean, you just never see him move. Like relative to his price, I think he's the hardest player to acquire in Dynasty.
Yeah. I mean that's why you drafted him, because like that's the only way to get him if you want him. Like you're not getting him.
So, and it seemed like, well, at least sniped. Why am I blanking on Hawkeyes? He, because we were talking trades when I was on the clock there, and basically I was probably a little too transparent about, because at the time we were negotiating it, I was more thinking I was going to take a running back there.
Yeah.
But it just didn't feel right to me, and I just felt like, you know what, I think Likely is the best player on the board. So I had sent a counter to Cooper's offer, but he declined it because he thought I was just going to take running back. So he was thinking like we might fall to him 4 picks later. But then I end up changing my plan. Like, you know what? Yeah. I'm just going the full zero running back. I'm just going to take the best player on the board. That feels like the right thing. And so, it seems that I sniped him there. But I was excited to get him because
because you can't get him.
I only have one other share of him, and I've been wanting more, and it's just impossible. So I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
He's going to get cute here. Like, I feel like he's a really good value. I'm just going to take him here.
Yeah, he's like, I don't even know what to, like, he's kind of one of those guys where like I don't even like think about him, because like, if he was like reasonably priced or just like tradable for, I'm sure I'd have Likely. I did attempt though this offseason because I had those Tracy shares, and I had what was it? Yeah, and I had some Brian Robinson shares. I was like, is there any way I can turn these guys into Isaiah Likely, even if I have to add? Because I just thought it was really sneaky. It's like, all right, I'm giving these running backs that that are starting for a tight end that's for a backup tight end.
And you're adding to it. It's like, how is that? That.
And I couldn't get it done. So I mean, he's just I don't know how you need him in like a big package, basically. That's the only way to get him.
You're tearing down from Jefferson, and you get him thrown into the deal, like that kind of thing. But it's ridiculous how hard it is to trade for him. I'm not saying it's completely justified, but I mean, I do like him. And Mark Andrews has been the subject of trade rumors, trade discussions reportedly. He's on the last year of his contract. I mean, he's definitely aging. He's still like at least a good player. He still probably has a few more productive years left, but it doesn't sound like the Ravens are going to extend him. Whereas I did just see a report that they're looking to extend Isaiah Likely. So who knows? I mean, certainly by next offseason, if Andrews is gone, he's on another NFL team, and like Likely's the dude there. I mean, you think he's untouchable now. Imagine how untouchable he's going to be then, especially in like a tight end premium league, 0.75. So he just seemed like by far the best player on the board, the player with the most ability to gain in value. So I mean,
what's funny?
When I really thought about it was a no-brainer.
You know what's funny? Like why I just like still he's just like not on my board here, and I could be completely wrong, but like especially where we saw him go in the break room, which was only a round earlier, but it was just like that one round felt so much different even from like this 10th round because he went above Mark Andrews and everything.
Exactly, it's weird to take him before Andrews. So like, even though he has more upside and looking into the future, like, over the next few years, like, there's definitely a chance that Likely outscores Andrews. But just looking ahead to the next year, I mean, you would project Andrews to score more points. So it does seem kind of weird to take Likely first, although I do understand it. I wouldn't, criticize someone for it, but I can also see why someone would criticize it.
The funny thing about Likely, it could be one of those things where, maybe I don't own him, so maybe I'm, maybe I am more realistic because I don't own them, or maybe I'm more like, I don't, is it really that good because I don't know which one it is, right?
Yeah,
but when I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at all these other tight ends on the board, I mean, there was only 5 taken before the late 8th, and these guys are extremely productive, young, some of them young, like Kraft and stuff like that, really good tight ends. Flashed, was tight end 1, 2 weeks in a row was Kraft. We have Kincaid, who just had a down year, but, had a really good rookie season, was a first-round pick. You get all these other tight ends, and they're, already going right in front of Likely. So, my theory is, how good is likely for him to like actually gain value when the time comes? So it's like, is he gonna go from like a 10th round pick to like a 9th, or is he gonna go from like a 10th round pick to like a 5th because he's like the next stud, Mark Andrews? Like I don't know.
I mean, here's the thing: he's only what, like 25 years old. I mean, like tight ends don't even like hit their prime until like their late 20s. Like signs are even at their best like their early 30s. I mean, you saw like what Kittle did last year. How old is he now? Like around 30, basically. So like he's got such a long runway. So and you see how people feel about him as a backup. And we've seen him pop off in games. I mean, just in 3 seasons playing sparingly. He's already had 200-yard games. He's had multiple games with double-digit targets, even on an offense that doesn't even throw the ball that much. So the upside is there. He's just a really fun, exciting player. I think he does have a lot to gain in terms of dynasty value. I mean, 5th round, like in a tight end premium league, 0.75 or 1.0, I don't think it's a crazy thought to think like that could be a ceiling.
Yeah, I think it's in the range of outcomes. I'm just like saying like, is that like a reasonable, like, is that going to happen? Because I'm looking at the tight end, like, again, like Kincaid, 1st round pick, also is 25 right now. And, he got hurt and was disappointing. And it's like, man, he's going like, and no one cares about him. So it's like, here's the kind of like how I'm theorizing. If like, what if likely is just the tight end 9 in the next year or something? This is kind of how I'm thinking. And he has some big weeks. He's disappointing through stretches. Does he just end up being Tucker Kraft, and it's being picked at the late 8th, or maybe he has some ADV. That could be like the one thing in his favor, is like if he shows enough, it could be like an ADV, like he's the above everyone.
I could really see him finishing as like a top 3, top 5 tight end if he's the starting tight end on the Ravens for a full season. I absolutely could.
It's possible. I mean, if he takes over for Andrews, I'm just like I have no idea if any like what his true range of outcomes are. To me, it's just funny seeing the tight ends like that are actually starting right now ahead of him and also really talented. So it's been a hard, I don't want to fade him. I'd like to get some in like actual trades, but in a startup, that's not, like it's even harder to take him because you have to take him over good players at a startup and stuff. So I completely understand grabbing him because he's impossible to get though.
Yeah, and by the way, I gotta highlight this comment from Jared in the live chat. He says Super Smash Brothers tournament.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, one of my favorite games. I think it came out when I was in high school. I'm definitely aging myself here, but on the Nintendo 64, the original, the very first Super Smash Brothers. Like, oh man, like I just absolutely love that game. I think that's still my favorite Super Smash Brothers. I mean, the one on like the GameCube was okay, and then I think I played it on like the Wii, and like that was pretty solid. But I still love the original, and I assume they have more. Like I assume there's one for like the Nintendo Switch or whatever. I've never played.
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've played against my like I was saying, my one brother is like insanely good. He was insanely good at Overwatch, which is a similar game to Rivals. If you don't know what those are, other people in the chat will, and like was extremely good. Like basically like playing kind of like we're all gamers basically like in my family. And my other brother, like I'm not kidding, like legitimately goes. He actually had made a website for Super Smash Bros. I think it was for like characters and like for competitiveness. Oh man, I forget what I think it's called Smash.gg, but I could be wrong about that, or it might be Smash something.gg. But he made a website, and he's also like, I got my ass beat a bunch of times by him. It's not even like, he's ruined the fun of Smash Bros for me, unfortunately.
Yeah. Hey, so I think I'm going to sign off here. I got some other things I got to do here. But if you want to go solo for a bit, and also if anyone in the live chat wants to hop on here and take my place and yap with Blake for a bit, we might be open to that. So Blake could always send you the Zoom link. So if anyone just wants to spontaneously jump on here, take my spot, feel free. Otherwise, maybe Blake will just kind of rocket solo here, and he can talk with you guys in the live chat and hold down the fort here. Yeah,
I'll keep going. If someone wants to, let me know. If not, I'll keep rolling solo. But good having you on.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great stream and great seeing everyone in the chat. And I'm loving the startup draft. I'm
Oh, yeah.
loving the listener league. So yeah, thank you everyone for being a part of that and for supporting the channel and just kind of being part of this community here. Yeah, it's just been really awesome.
Yeah.
And it's just been such a fun thing to be a part of. So yeah, just thank you to everyone. And yeah, I'm gonna sign off.
Sweet.
And yeah, I'll probably watch the replay later of how the rest of the stream. So yeah, it would be fun to see if anyone wants to jump in here. So with that, I will sign off and have a good night. I'll see you guys later.
All right, yeah, you too.
All right, bye.
All right, perfect. We got Reed saying to shoot it, hop on and chat. We'll do that. I'll also shoot an idea by you, Reed, if you want, of what we could also do for a little bit of fun. Like an underdog draft. We could. I've been meaning to do one of these. We did a bunch of them last year, but we have not got to it just yet. Give me a second here. I'm just gonna cover up the screen real quick while I do some things. Get you this invite. But yeah, we'll look at the rest of these teams. We just get too sidetracked. We're talking about Isaiah Likely for 15 minutes, talking about his range of outcomes. There's just too much going on. We're not disciplined enough to get through, one team, let alone 12. So we did our best. Where's Reed Duncan? There he is. Okay, I just sent you the invite on Sleeper. Alright. While we wait for Reed, I will start going through some more teams. So Seb said look at his team. I gotta be honest with you, Seb. That's the one thing I always be when I'm looking at these teams. I'll be honest. I'm interested to see how you pull it together. Because, I won your first and second. And maybe third. I'm a little excited right now looking at it. It's not because your team's like you have bad players, but you just don't have enough. Like you got 4 gaps in the starting lineup. Though I do acknowledge you do have some picks coming up here, or at least you have 3 in the next few. So you definitely will have a lineup. You got rookie picks, so. You got Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. It's pretty hard to say anything bad about your team when you have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. But I don't know. The only pick I don't really like is like Khalil Shakir. Though I don't think he's like the worst pick in the world. He could be kind of good in a league median format actually because he has a pretty high floor it seems. But yeah, I would have waited. Or wanted to get him, maybe this round or round 12. I would have definitely taken like Sutton or Godwin over him personally at receiver, but maybe not too far off there. Like the Mike Evans pick, I was like genuinely considering him round 9. Oh baby, there we go.
Yo,
Reread, what's up?
what's up?
Oh, not much. I was looking at Seb's team. Telling him it sucks.
Yeah.
And how he's going to give me the 101.
What rookie picks does he have?
Let's see.
He wants mine. He wants the 109.
He has 2 early ones.
Oh, that's good, though.
He has... Actually... He's 104. Yeah, 104 and 106, so... Two early ones.
This team's not bad.
Yeah, once you actually slot in the rookies, it looks much better.
2 solid quarterbacks. I love Murray.
Yeah. Yeah, he was... I was actually going to take Murray, but I ended up trading back because I freaking love Purdy, who was like my next pick after.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, I thought Murray was a good pick, 4-4 for sure. And
see, I did too. Honestly, if I would do anything different, I probably would think of something else than Jacobs. and I probably wouldn't do Penix as much as I like him. I would probably wait and have Bryce Young my first quarterback, and then get Geno at the 10-2,
I see.
and maybe draft a Shador Sanders later on if I could snag him. Or
Yeah.
but oh
I,
well.
I like the Geno pick because, like, when you pick Geno, you're not picking him because, like, oh man, he's gonna gain a bunch of value. But I mean, he's been a pretty solid quarter. I've been trying to get him.
He's a safe quarterback for right now. Say
Yeah.
if like Penix isn't playing well, or Bryce, I think I'll start Geno the entire year rather than one of
Yeah.
those other two probably.
Yeah, that's the sneaky thing is like, I'll even like again. I think McCarthy's ceiling is really high, but if you had McCarthy and Geno, especially like the first half of the season, like I wouldn't be surprised if they're identical or whatever it is, and you could kind of say that for a lot of the quarterbacks going much higher. So he's a pretty good like way to patch up, QB2 if you need.
Yeah, I can't see myself going like some of these quarterbacks I went earlier. I don't know. I don't like May. I just don't trust personally May as much as say Herbert.
Yeah.
Who went right after him, who's already showed that he's a top fantasy quarterback, I guess. But
That's a big one for me too, because I completely agree. Like I did think that 301 from where I've been seeing him go is like, okay, that's like more digestible. I might consider getting him because I own no May for what you just said. Like
I don't either.
if you went up a lot in value because he was going behind that last year, if you're going up, you're being taken one pick after Knicks. In fact, normally he goes ahead of Knicks, and we just saw Knicks be like amazing for fantasy with literally zero weapons, and Drake May has Stephon Diggs added and Kyle Williams, and that's we're over the moon for him because he showed us he could score 18 fantasy points a game, like or maybe even less than that. It's probably like 16. Like it's a lot of projection. I'm not too sure that like it's a valid ADP because
Yeah.
you're more drafting like I don't know, closer to ceiling, which is extremely high. It's in like first round startup, but when you haven't seen him do it.
Yeah, I was sitting at the 301, Randy and I was kind of like, I don't know. I don't like. I think there's enough wide receivers to kind of, and I guess valuable players to kind of fall back to. We went to the 311, and I was obviously taking AJ Brown there. Like it's kind of a no-brainer to me.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was like really considering AJ Brown because I own the pick at 3-8 where Jordan Love went. And I mean, actually, to kind of compare like a Love and a May, like Love literally just finished as the QB6 in 2023, I think it was, or like a top 5 quarterback, and he's going like, damn around like what is that, like 7 or 8 picks after Drake May, who's not shown us he could be a top 5 quarterback. So it's like Jordan Love could easily like hop back in get in that top 10 or top 5 range with just like a nut season. So I just find that funny that like, yeah, he's going like well after him there. But yeah, I was having a tough time between Brown and Love, and I just ended up trading out of there, and kind of letting you guys make the decision for me.
I like what you did. At first, I was like, dude, he's like just trading away out of everything. And I was like, then I like see your team developing. Then I look at your draft picks, and I was like, what in the, like, how does this even happen? I was like, dude, there's so many good players in that 6 to 7 round range that like he could, I mean, obviously contend for the first 2 years still with these older guys, but then still have these crazy draft picks. So I would have never done this, but I like it a lot. It looks fun.
Yeah, that's pretty much been my plan. Like, I just kind of see what happens in the draft anyways. Like I was saying earlier, in this format, McBride scored, I think, 9 points more or less than Jefferson. I can't remember, but like he's basically scoring like a superstar receiver in this format. So he's kind of like my Jefferson player in here, and then I just kind of build a really cheap team around him. So I mean, normally how I've been doing startups, like I think a lot of people get kind of lost in like I'm picking Drake May because he's he's young and he's gonna be the next Josh Allen or something, right? But we don't know that he's gonna be like an actual true difference maker, especially immediately like this season.
Yeah.
We're like, I know Brock Purdy just put up a top 6 like 2 years ago, and then he was doing it again, and then he got hurt, and he's got extremely high ceiling. So it's like, yeah, I'll take him mid 4th. One pick I normally wouldn't make.
Yeah, I agree.
McCarthy's normally a pick I wouldn't make, and I would normally wait to like then hopefully get one of these Dax or Goffs later. But being a Vikings fan and stuff, I ended up just like making it for kind of more for fun, and I think he can get red hot and actually kind of do the Drake May thing where like he can be whatever, like getting closer to the Mahomes and Caleb Williams and stuff. But I'm not like I don't know, like betting on that completely.
We were hoping he fell at that 412.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable spot. This 4th, like, I'm assuming you thought that as well.
No, for sure. I mean, he's got the weapons. He's in a great offense. I mean, clearly they want him to play. They got rid of Darnold. They know he's their guy, so makes sense.
I was really hoping to actually stack him with Addison. I don't care too much about stacking and like especially start 11 and Dynasty, but like McCarthy in this offense and then Addison, who's just like gets tons of big plays. I thought that would be pretty fun.
So I liked Addison a lot. I was hoping one of those younger receivers right there, Smith, Addison, or where they would kind of fall, and then McLaurin. We were stuck, but I was like really in on McLaurin just for like a 3-year thing where he's a top wide receiver and on an efficient offense, and he's still got years to him in my opinion. I think he's in his prime damn near, like, and now he has a quarterback who's top 5, so it was interesting to me, but I could see why people would rather go Jameson Williams or Zay Flowers. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because you get the big season from McLaurin last year. Like the one thing I'm a little nervous about, and if people show that they can score a lot of touchdowns, like Addison's been one of those guys where it's like, okay, this guy clearly has a nose for the end zone. McLaurin finally gets that season. Like, for what it's worth, the expected touchdowns, he was at like 7 and he scored 13. And I was like saying on another stream, like Trent and I were like, I was at his house, and we had like a co-managed team. We were playing against McLaurin, and we were watching that game closely, and it was just insane. It was the most like classic. You're in the fantasy playoffs, you're hoping McLaurin doesn't go nuts, and he's like in quadruple coverage, mossing people. Like he was just scoring touchdowns that should never ever be scored, and like it was all these broken play stuff. So like maybe I can kind of see the path where it's like, on the touchdown, because he scored so much of his like fantasy points through touchdown, there could be some regression there, but I wouldn't like bank on it, because I mean he's the only receiver in a really good offense with an amazing quarterback. So I mean it makes sense he's going to score a lot of touchdowns as a really talented receiver. So it's really hard for me to say anything bad about McLaurin. He's pretty reasonably priced.
I've also, this is my second dynasty ever, so like I'm still new to. I'm just like, okay, I see McLaurin here. Like it was hard for me to get Keon Coleman. I'm like, dude, he's like didn't do shit last year. Like I don't that he's younger. I'd rather get someone who's 7-8 years older who can produce 3 times more for 2 years. It's just harder for me to realize that I should try and bank on value at a younger age.
Yeah, that's the most interesting thing, because I think a lot of new dynasty players, they're like to one extreme or the other. They're only drafting Keon Coleman and Kyle Pitts, and Drake May or whatever, and all these guys. And then there's other people, they're only drafting Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry and so on. So, like, I mean, that's where I try to find the middle ground, like myself, like a little bit of that gray area where it's like, you can kind of see that with my team. It's like, I mean, I have young guys on here. I have old guys. I have some risky guys. I have some more, like, insulated guys. And I have a bunch of draft picks. That's kind of like how I want to build my team. I don't want to, like, set it too far, in one direction.
Yeah.
Versus the other. So, I mean, that's kind of how I've altered because when I started, I was only drafting receivers, like not investing anything in running backs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of altered, in that way myself because it can be kind of hard to understand, or like I don't know, figure out what you want to do because like here's how my brain works. For reference, like if I'm in this slot, like as you for McLaurin, but my brain doesn't go like, oh, Terry McLaurin's good, I want to take him here. It goes like, all right, where is Mike Evans and like Devontae Adams going, who can like also put up similar seasons, or
That's very true.
similar age. So like, it's not that Terry McLaurin's a bad pick. I think could be an awesome pick, but I'm like, all right, who's cheaper, and then I go into that range. And they might even be better, or it's not going to work out every time, but they could be as good for the same year or whatever. And then I'd find a way to either get draft picks on top. So like that's how my brain works, whether that's right or wrong.
That's smart. I didn't think of that, but
Yeah.
it's good to know for like when I do this again.
Yeah, and I'll say that about the Jacobs one, right? It's not that Jacobs is bad. I think Jacobs is like a pretty good guy on your team if you're contending. But I'm like, all right, where's CMC going? Oh yeah, like 2 rounds later. All right, like CMC is a controversial one.
No, I got you.
Because the injuries, but you could say that was the big thing with K9. It's like, all right, if this dude's on the field, he's amazing. So
yeah, I love him. He's good.
Yeah, I had to make sure I got him. I traded up for him. There. So.
I mean, you're getting your guys and you're trading back and playing it very well. Yeah, I mean, I'm down to look at some of these other teams too and kind of get 2 different opinions on them because we both have probably pretty different opinions.
Yeah, who do you want to see here first? Anybody in mind?
I really like Matt's.
Matt.
Hey,
okay.
Matt. I think his squad. I don't know. I like his squad.
Okay, let's see this. Ooh, okay. Interesting.
I like Pacheco for a bounce back this year. And then the 9th, a younger running back. He's been, 25, 26? I think he's got a couple years left and didn't really go for running back, I think.
Pacheco still, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is 26, last year of his contract. And there's, not really anyone in that backfield again. So I really liked him last year. And then this offseason, I haven't really cared about him. But I've also been thinking the same thing where I'm like, and I was actually looking to get him in this draft, like to keep my eye on him. I was hoping he'd hit double digits rounds. But I'm like, man, I could just be messing up here. Like Chiefs starting running back again. I think it could, like the bounce back is definitely in the range of outcomes for him.
No, for sure. Yeah. But I like his squad, younger receivers, and he also has. I just love Courtland Sutton personally, as a Broncos fan. But
I see. Yeah. I ended up getting one recently. Like I think it's a reasonable spot for him. Like you're still getting double digits after a good year. Like I was saying, I would way rather have Sutton over Coleman earlier.
I would too, personally.
Yeah. And he went earlier, but like I would be, like if you know that he's gonna go, I'd like try to get up there or something. Because I do agree. Like Sutton could have another great year. Not breaking the bank for him, but you don't have to. So
yeah, exactly.
That's the key on him. Yeah, Mahomes is probably the most controversial like pick because like Dan and I wanted nothing to do with him last year.
I don't.
And for good reason because he did absolutely nothing. And fun fact, AR last year had the same amount of point, like 20 plus point per or 20 plus game performances. You get the point. Like he scored 20 points or more, and like he didn't even play some games, and it was like up and down. But like I don't want that out of my quarterback where it's like, all right, you're giving me like 19 points every game. Like I want spike weeks.
No, I agree. I mean, I love the Bowers, obviously. I mean, probably the best fantasy asset you could have, especially in this type of like scoring. I like the Love value. Laporta too. I mean, that double tight end. Taylor, good value there. Yeah, that younger receiver, I like it.
It's funny. He's got a lot of players like that I might be kind of scared to click on. Like, it's impossible to say Mahomes is a bad pick because his price is actually adjusted now. Like before, he was going top 3 still. Mm-hmm. So like, I can't fault anyone for making that click. He has a lot of players that it's like, it's kind of like make or break potentially for their value or their like outlook. JT, like Pacheco, Reed, Laporta. You know, I mean, you can even say Jamos is sort of in there, like Addison, but like one big thing is there's a lot of like big play guys I'm noticing on this team. You know,
I agree. I mean, Jameson Williams is probably the definition of big plays.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun to watch. But I don't know. I'm just so against even in a super flex like early quarterback. I just don't. I'd rather wait.
Yeah.
You know, I've always been so against like even in a 1 quarterback league going quarterback before the 5th, 6th round. No, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, because that's in the past what has worked, like the late round QB. But the one interesting thing is like in a 1 QB, like it's gotten a lot smarter where if you have legs, you know, we know to like push you up the board. So like we're pretty good at predicting who obviously like the top quarterbacks are now, so it can pay off. But like the edge isn't to draft the best quarterback high, it's to like find the Bo Nix of last year or the Justin Fields or whoever it is for free.
Because I think of it as like, okay, well, there's 12 teams in the league.
Yeah.
That means like, okay, realistically, you're gonna have one of the top 12 quarterbacks, you know, who's gonna put up good numbers. Like, if that makes sense, like, I'd rather like I could wait and draft 2 to 3 late quarterbacks and bank that one of them could be that top 12 to 15 players, and it's like, okay, it's not that far of a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I like the thinking because that's exactly what I was just saying. Literally in the startup draft with when I was saying like the Terry McLaurin or Josh Jacobs thing, it's like these guys might be better, but I can also get maybe 2 guys like at damn near the same price or whatever it is, or I get a guy at a pretty big discount that might be better or just as good. So it's pretty much the same logic, which I definitely agree with. And there was like there's a guy I listened to for. He's actually like known as like the late round QB guy. It's like JJ Zacharyson, but he's like a big like numbers guy. And basically, if you're a pocket passer and you're like the top pocket passer being drafted, so like you eliminate Daniels and all those guys.
Yeah.
There's a more likely chance if you just draft the QBs. I think it was like 14 to like 20 or something. If you draft 2 of those guys, odds are one of those guys outscores like so it would have been like Stroud last year, for example, because he was like the one being pushed up the board because he was.
I didn't touch him once. It's like there's no way I'm touching that. I'm just not a fan of that.
I actually drafted
Murray later. Murray and Love, what I did a lot last year.
And I drafted in Dynasty 2 rookie Strouds, and then I flipped them for like absolute hauls when he was going as a top 4 pick last offseason. Is ridiculous.
That's why I'm just like, I'm not big on. I'd rather have like a mid quarterback and some elite receivers or weapons than a star quarterback and some decent weapons.
I'm 100% on the same page. Like even the Allens and stuff, like because they're amazing, and I do own those, like especially like Daniels because I just drafted in rookie drafts and stuff. And Hurts, like I own those guys because Hurts is like the cheapest of them all. But like, I would 100% rather like pick a receiver like Jefferson, Chase, and those guys in round 1 of like a dynasty startup, and then draft a quarterback in like round 4 or later. I mean, you could even go round 10, right, with Geno.
Yeah.
And then have them as my quarterback rather than the alternate of, you know, the round 1 quarterback. Regardless of who it is, and you know the round 4 receiver. Like there's one receiver that went round 4. It's T Higgins. You know. I completely agree with that.
Whose team is one of your favorites?
Ooh, like Let's see. God, I'll say like this could have been my favorite. It's not that it's not. I think it's coming together really well. But like this is Jacob. But the reason it's not my favorite is because this is how I would draft like before. This is like my strategy of just like, all right, just pump receivers. They're safe. Get rookie picks and like play for year two, because you're guaranteed to have like a good team doing that.
Yeah.
Well, the issue is like
like the receivers.
You just like the issue is like you're wasting a year of all these guys in their prime, right? And these guys like they get hurt, they disappoint still. We like associate young receivers with like being safe, but like that's not the case because Chris Olave has been going down every year. Garrett Wilson has been doing the same. Like, and maybe they're good bounce backs and all, but like Jalen Waddle's another one. These guys keep going down.
But the first two I like Jason, Drake, London, and then I like Garrett Wilson for the most part. But like then it starts. Rasheed's okay, but I'm just so against Chris Olave. I've never been a fan of him.
Oh yeah, you're the
once, and I just like I can't do it.
Yeah,
I have like PTSD from drafting Michael Thomas every year, predicting the bounce back. It's never happening, so we'll never touch a Saints receiver.
Yeah, like the Chris Olave. See, I think he's just like actually he's a good pick if you're or like a good player if you're not competing if it's out of the off the table. But like it's hard in a startup to take him because what I was saying earlier, I can get like more productive receivers or as productive so much cheaper. And some of them are even like young, like you get, whatever it is, like
Devonta Smith.
Yeah, Smitty around later, Addison, like these guys.
Yeah. He just traded up for him also. That's why I was.
Yeah.
It was interesting, but I mean, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Olave is like inarguable, like his like per route stuff. Like, you wouldn't even know it if you hadn't seen it. Like he's as good for like every important metric as Justin Jefferson per route. Issue is he's literally playing with like idiot quarterbacks. Yeah, the concussions. So it's like I'm pretty mixed on him. Like I'm optimistic like at some time in the future, like maybe not this year. Yeah, that things can come together. But yeah, like I mean, it's just such a like nasty overall receiver room. I've been coming up on Rashee Rice. I like to hopefully do what he did last year, but like I would have like in my opinion, if I was in his position, I would have taken advantage of these falling quarterbacks, and I would have just put together a starting team this year, because like, what do you got to lose? It's a $30 league. There's a bunch of running backs you can draft late, like you were mentioning Pacheco. I love Connor, Montgomery. Yeah. Like you can piece together a team. You got rookie picks. You got a great core with receivers. Like that's the route I would have went. But like undoubtedly, it's still a solid dynasty team.
His best bet is to, with some of those kickers, go for those later quarterbacks too in that rookie drafts.
Yeah,
like there's one or two that I really like later on, and so I think that'd be, if that panned out and those guys became starters, I think of course that would work, but it's so risky.
Yeah. That's the one thing I don't like. I had a lot of conviction on Daniels last year, even though it was really expensive, and I drafted a couple of them. But like, I really hate drafting quarterbacks in rookie drafts just because how expensive they are, and how risky they are to even like be a difference maker when you can get Geno Smith in the 10th round, who's just going to be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what he is.
I was like iffy on Penix, but clearly they know that that's their guy. They spent a top 10 pick on him and basically want to get rid of Kirk. So I mean, I saw it as like it's really no. I mean, yeah, it's a risk. He played a couple games, but I think it's a worth risk.
Oh yeah, I absolutely think so as well. And like, I mean, we saw a little bit of flash of just how nasty he is, like slinging the rock. So
yeah.
I don't like literally. If I had that pick and I had not taken McCarthy, like I would have done the same thing and
Yeah.
taken Penix. So
We moved up. We moved up a couple picks for him, I think.
yeah,
What did you get out of trading back in the first?
I
What did you
got
get?
I got his first. Like I went all the way back to the 211, which I obviously then I don't know who knows what I did. I traded back more.
Yeah.
But I got Seb's first, and I got an 8th round startup pick, which let me see if I even made it. I think it would have been Fields, or I don't know. Well,
Around there.
it would have been a player in this Fields range, which
You like Fields? I'm just like I'll never probably touch him again. But
I don't feel too strongly for like Dynasty. Is what I'll say because I have no idea for his Dynasty like outlook. But in redraft, like I was playing underdog and stuff like that. Like if you've done underdog best ball drafts,
yeah,
like
I've done it like for a weekly. I haven't done it for like an entire season.
I see.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Fields is like been a pretty good value, and it's not because like the quarterbacks behind him are way better dynasty player, but like Fields' ceiling weekly is just it's game breaking. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of just looking at it like, dude, a lot of these like 8th and 9th so on picks, they're gonna end up getting hurt and sucking anyways, or just not panning out, or aging out. So it's like I'm gonna take a shot on a guy that I think can be like a clear difference maker.
Yeah.
I don't that yeah.
I mean, he's not gonna start for you probably. I mean, he actually
He
might start.
probably week 1 would be the projection as I throw him
Yeah.
in there. See what happens. But
I mean, yeah, that hurt.
yeah, I mean, like I didn't plan on taking him. I'll say that. Like I didn't think he'd be
Yeah.
there. I thought people were really high on him, and whether I agree with it or not, like I thought it was kind of just a good spot taken.
I do like the Fields Wilson this year. Excited to see that. Like former teammates,
Oh yeah,
couple teammates. That'll be fun.
yeah, the New York boys now.
Hmm.
Let's take a look at Coda's team here, because we got Coda's always a controversial guy, as you can see. He found out.
Dude, I like him now. He's funny.
Yeah, you just can't take him too seriously, because like
Yeah, I realized. I was like, dude, now it's someone I could like screw with and say whatever I want. And he's not gonna care. So I was like,
yeah, he'll really I mean, dude, we were in a startup earlier this offseason, and like he was legitimately on the clock for like 24 hours straight. Like it was insane. Like he was just like completely griefing the startup. It was nuts. But I actually think like you asked me earlier like who's one of my favorite, and I'd actually say it's Coda's team, because he drafts like this startup at least how I would, and actually I think let me check Dan's team real quick. Dan had a really similar start to him, but the difference was I actually like just like lineup wise I actually liked kind of across the board a lot of Coda stuff. But that was before he picked Mixon and Swift and stuff, which I don't love. I wouldn't have picked them there, but I know you won't like Tua because of the concussion stuff, but like I
it
don't
doesn't bother me as much.
Yeah.
As a lot of way personally. For his value.
Yeah, I don't care. Like I would care about the concussion stuff if he was like more expensive, but it's kind of the same thing with like Fields. It's like all right, like he could like kind of lose his job or whatever, or like or in this case like get concussed again. But it's like I don't know. He just keeps coming back. Like he scores good points when he's on the field in this format too. We have like the 6-point passing TDs, so like. I think he's a pretty good value if you're just looking for points. So I love Nico Collins. I love Justin, obviously. So like, thought Smitty was a really good deal. I was really wanting to get him, but I took the tight ends over him. So like I really like the build of his team. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, it turned out better than I thought it would. I mean, he's got pretty stacked receivers.
Yeah.
I do like. I I did like Janu a little bit more, but now hearing some rumors, but I don't think he's leaving.
No, I don't think he is either.
So in that case, I like him.
Yeah.
I mean, late ninth pick for him. Personally, I would rather have Evan Ingram. I mean, I'm a Broncos fan, so
Yeah.
like take that as it is. But I like his team. Does he have any kickers?
He does not. He actually doesn't have his first because I own it. So, yeah, that's why his team's like looking better. He did spend his first, but even Darnold, who like I don't even like want to say I believe it. Like at that point, it's like it's the 9-9. Again, like a lot of these players are just gonna like fold anyways. So I can kind of understand like the Darnold pick. You could maybe just like try to flip him or something if he gets hot early. Yeah. Like I don't love it, I don't hate it. Yeah, Jonnu, like you said Ingram over Jonnu. I think they're pretty close, but like Ingram, we've seen him do it multiple years, and he gets like the new change the scenery. I've been drafting like my favorite tight ends are Njoku, Jonnu, and Ingram at price. So there was one that I did where I got all three of them, and yeah, I drafted it like Njoku, Ingram, and then I think I got Jonnu in the 12th. So it was pretty good. So definitely like. I definitely like his team overall. I mean, really the only picks I like probably don't love is Mixon and Swift, but I could see them having solid seasons again here.
Yeah, I've been trying to trade up into this round.
Okay.
But everyone I'm talking to, they're just like, I don't know, it's not working. But
yeah, I haven't. There's a guy.
I want.
I feel like I could take an educated guess who that was, but we'll see. We'll see if I'll let you know when he comes off the board.
Take a guess that you know who I want.
I just based off what we were just saying, like I feel like it's obvious to me who you want, but I could be wrong.
That's crazy.
I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I don't know.
There's probably people watching this that
I won't say.
Give that answer.
Nah, I won't say nothing right now, but when he comes off the board, I'll
You
give
always
you.
miss. Yeah.
Yeah.
I might still. I want to trade up, bro. I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah. I traded back from like at a pretty reasonable price out of like the 9th or like late 9th or something like that to this 11th because there was a guy like I felt pretty confident I could get. So I'm waiting out like 3 more picks to see if I get him. It's kind of just where he goes. It's not like it's some crazy value or anything. So I've been like kind of like because I made that trade back to get him. I'm like, oh man, like should I trade up now like and secure it? I don't know.
Yeah. There's like one guy, and then if he's not there, I'm like, okay, there's no.
Yeah.
I'll like back even farther.
Yeah.
I'm good.
That's literally what happened to me. It was it was like Downs came off the board because I had to pick. I picked Monty and Adams and then left Downs because I thought there might be a chance for Downs to come back to me. Where like I knew Adams and Monty would just be gone. And then once like Downs went, I was like, all right, like I'll just trade back. There's nothing here for me. So yeah, and then Coda's team.
It's like. I wish this was like, it's cool. It's like live.
Yeah.
But there's things I want to say.
Yeah.
Because I know that you wouldn't be like, oh shit, well this is what he wants.
Yeah.
I can't say it.
No, that's right. Because I was saying that it was tighten up. Was saying like people were name drop, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, I get it, but like if someone like names a player at top of ADP, like I'm not just gonna draft them because they said his name. Like he doesn't just like magically make his way to the top of my board. Like if I was gonna get him, if the guy at the top of ADP gets picked, like after ADP, like what's the surprise there? Like obviously he's gonna get picked soon. So I get it, but I don't. Like I'm not too concerned like when people are naming stuff, but I certainly get it because if you mention something, especially if they're like hidden, some players are like. They're a little bit down on the ADP is not like right. So I don't even know.
Yeah, there's some late players I still love.
Yeah.
Like I'm scrolling through and queuing some that him and I love and think could be really good value. But
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
agree. Like,
There's like some solid players I'm looking at right now there that
yeah.
I mean I don't know. There's some good players up there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think.
Hey, don't gotta name any names.
I'm not.
Ooh. So Aaron Jones was not the guy that.
That you thought
It's not. Yeah, he wasn't one of them. So I'll say that.
like for
For
you
you.
or
No, for you.
oh yeah
Is that correct? Okay. Yeah. No. Slide.
no. Really like I like I think I know who you want.
Interesting.
No. I really don't know. You've been very unpredictable.
Interesting. I think this one's gonna be a little unpredictable. I'll be honest.
Okay, then I'm not really sure.
They're not a like it's not like the most obvious pick on the board by any means. I would never pick them at the end of round 9 because I can just trade back. But like when I was looking at the players on the board and just like how my team was going, I was like, yeah, I mean you could like I could see them being like picked here, but like that's kind of like the point is that you don't have to pick them here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of why I traded back here. I don't know. We'll see when I get. Maybe I'll get in the clock tonight. Who knows? But while we're here, maybe if Hawkeyes is here, he's normally in the stream, so maybe he's working or something. But we'll find out.
Yeah, because we tried to trade up with him.
Yeah.
Where he took Stafford, and then we talked to Trent. It was a no go.
Yeah.
Talked to Colossal, no go. Just slowly went back. So I'm like kind of. And then at that point, we were like, dude, let's just like wait a little bit longer.
Yeah.
They're cool. If not, then whatever.
That's like why I trade back like early, is because if you don't trade early, or even if you trade up, like especially if you trade up, because then you start losing like assets. Like it can get really hard to trade up like in these later rounds when there's like good value on the board.
Yeah.
And that's why like you saw like rounds 6 and 7, it was like insane. It felt like all the players that were there. That's kind of why I clustered all those picks together, because I kind of noticed that, like for my other drafts. And I was like, dude, you could just build a 6 starting lineup with only 6th and 7th round startup picks. They're obviously not the most, they're not the most valuable players, but like you're still getting Kenneth Walkers and like CMCs and like young receivers. So that was kind of like my strategy going into it, is that like I don't know, the round sometimes are like a little misleading, so I like stacking up all the picks, and then now if I want to trade up, I kind of have like the ammo to do it, which I've done a couple times. So Trent, speaking of trades, has made none, and he's kind of just like been leaning into it. Where he's just like
been very shut down on trades, which is cool. I mean, I think his team's pretty good.
Yes, it is. Trent's like my buddy in real life, and it's funny because like he's just like, yeah, you know what? Like I haven't made any trades so far. Like I might just like kind of sit still and just keep drafting. So he's kind of just like leaning into it, which it's funny. There was in another startup, a guy had this same slot, the 110, and he also started Lamb Amon-Ra. There's just something about this slot. It's like the perfect, if you don't trade, like I swear the board just kind of like follows you perfectly.
I mean, I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, the value he's gotten in some of those players.
Yeah. I wouldn't have picked Stroud at 3-3 just personally, because like later quarterbacks.
Yeah, I agree. But, I mean, imagine if he got Jason right there with those 3 receivers.
Yeah.
Pretty nasty.
That's true, yeah. And then got a quarterback later. Like, that'd be gross.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a pretty solid team.
Yeah, he has the 105, actually. Oh, wait, yeah, 105. So that's a pretty good pick.
I don't know who that even. I've been like trying to keep track.
Off of like normally the three players that like would only ever get picked there would be like maybe Tet if he falls a pick. I've got him there twice. Like kind of getting lucky. Ward would be like in that category, and then also Henderson. Henderson's like the most popular 105.
Yeah, I mean, I it's been weird with the whole kicker thing. I've like tried to,
Yeah.
you know, I like where we got our 109 for the most part, right after Henry, which is like,
Yeah.
yeah, but then look who's a, I don't know. It's interesting. I like where we got the 109. We have a couple ideas. We're more so just like gonna just probably do best available or
Yeah.
just trade back with it, not really knowing what to do with it.
Yeah. That's like the awesome thing about the rookies is like when you like my favorite thing, and you wouldn't even know it from the startup, is I love taking the rookie picks because you don't even have to like you can have a bunch of holes in your lineup, for example, right? And then once you come out of the rookie draft, like you might have either traded for vets with like those picks and like fixed your lineup, or you might have just drafted like what your holes were and stuff. So there's a lot of ways to, and like sometimes when you take the kicker, like the rookie pick, they're just more valuable than what the players going off in the board were.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is though, because the draft happened, and like we know who these rookies are and stuff, like they're going where they should be now. We're like, I'll show you a draft like from well, I won't show you the board just because like it's just a bunch of craziness. But like this is a team like we did earlier. It's like the same format, and we have Rodgers and we had Carr retire on us. Like we were really leaning into like 0 QB2.
Yeah.
But like we got this like nasty lineup. Like
Pretty good.
yeah, like we got some good stuff on the bench. Rodgers, Dart, kind of sitting there to hopefully turn into something. A lot of rookies and stuff, and then we have like a bunch of picks kind of like in the back pocket. So, but the key with this was like because we drafted it like well before the draft, people are like, oh, like I don't know, like the rookies, like I don't know if they're any good. We literally took like 10 to like 12 rookie picks. And we owned like half the draft. It felt like, and we there was like never 3 picks without us like making being 3 picks after. So when the draft happened, we traded up for Genti, barely paid anything. It felt like because we had so much, and we just got such good such bad players were going ahead of where we were taking these rookie picks. We were just like printing money by taking them, and then because we like owned like so many, we were like taking them all in order of like who we thought would fall, and then everyone was falling we were hoping would, and it was just like, oh man, it was awesome. So
Dang.
like
Y'all were doing a co?
yeah that's he's been on the channel a few times. His name's Joshy, or well Josh probably, but that's like Joshy Lips is his name. So we built a pretty sick lineup, kind of exposing that just like mispriced, but I know that's why I don't have any kickers this time. It's not because they're a bad value; they just kind of been going where they should.
Yeah,
and it's a start 11.
That's why I'm avoiding it. Before. Well, with our kicker, we were like, dude, I have no idea what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
I was kind of doing stuff. He was kind of busy. I was like, let's just go with a kicker and we'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
No, just don't worry about trying to trade back. Just go kicker. I like the 109.
Yeah.
I like the players that we could get from that range, and if not, I'll trade back with the 109. Figure out later. But I've liked doing a co-commission. I was worried at first because we clash a lot.
Yeah.
And so we both have different opinions and
yeah.
But very similar at the same time. Like as when I mentioned, I was like, dude, because I was surprised Bijan and Gibbs were there. I was like, let's trade up 1 pick, and because I like Brian Thomas, but I'm also like, I also love Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's another weapon there, but imagine having this two-headed monster of the two best running backs in the league.
Yeah.
You know, in a dynasty, of course, and so let's just trade up and maybe paid a little bit more than I'd like. I think we just did pick swaps in the 5th and 10th, maybe.
I see.
But
yeah, I didn't see what the deal was, so I have no idea what you got, but like having Bijan and Gibbs on the same team is pretty disgusting, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
The way when I said earlier, like that's probably not how I build a team like myself, but I completely understand it. The reason like that I know it gets weird because I've kind of like I'm constantly adjusting like because every year to year it's been different, you know, where players are going and like where values are. But like for the most part, like I want to get Bijan and Gibbs guys on my team, but like my goal is not to draft them. It's like, okay, get some rentals in there or get the CMC who I think is like discounted but will be amazing and stuff like that as long as he's not hurt. And then what happens is like, all right, like I build up all this draft capital and value on my team. And then it's like, all right, year 2, now I'm trying to like get Genty, Gibbs, and Bijan. But if you just start with them, you don't need to trade for them. You know, you can figure out the rest.
And if I absolutely need something, I could trade one of them for some great value. And I don't think I would do that. You know, I think they're pretty set on my squad.
Yeah.
But I traded them I basically just traded from the beginning of round 5 and 9 to towards the end of round 5 and 9. Essentially.
Yeah.
Move up 2 picks, which sounds crazy, but to me, I look at Bijan and then BTJ, I'm like, I don't know, a little more secure for me.
Yeah, that's like my favorite way to do a trade, not because it's like, I don't know, like you're scam or anything, because like you're not. In fact, you might even like be giving up, depending on like trade to trade, enough or like even more than you want. But the key is the key is you didn't lose a startup pick to trade up 2 spots. Like that would be ridiculous.
Yes.
You know, even if it's in double digits, it's just like it's a start 11. You need every pick you can get. So I like kind of doing those like, all right, I move up a couple here, you move up a couple later.
Yeah. I just feel like obviously way more secure in Bijan, who's been a top running back and no injury history. I mean, Brian Thomas obviously had outstanding rookie year and could easily repeat that. He probably will, but I'm like,
you know what I like though about it is that so you get the 2 running backs, and then you were saying like you're really high on Hunter too, and like again, this is how my brain works. It's like there is nothing wrong with Brian Thomas. Like he is amazing, but there's literally a world where I don't think it's like that unlikely at all, where by like in 365 days, Travis Hunter is worth the same or like a negligible difference or even more than him somehow because he's just that good. And it's like, all right, well, now you have Bijan, Gibbs, and you know you were planning on getting Hunter, but you weren't like, you know, you got sniped by a pick or 2 picks or something.
Yeah.
On that 103, so. Like I like that thinking because that's something that's how I would play that too. Is like, all right, I can get these 2 guys and I can get like BTJ like discount. Yeah, I like that. I like that thinking. So, let's take a look at it again.
Dude, because I don't watch. I don't watch film. I don't watch people like post about most valuable, like this is who you need to target this year. Like I just kind of go off what I think just by instinct, and it works sometimes. I mean, I'll win leagues, and then sometimes it's like there's been some pretty big duds.
Yeah, that's like Dan's a big like intuition guy.
Same.
You know, and I certainly believe the same thing where it's like, dude, if you're, you know, your heart or whatever is telling you, like, get this guy or don't, like, that's what I was feeling for Daniels. I think I was saying it in the stream that, I think it was a stream that you were in there, or maybe I think you had just left, that one where we did, like, the 3-way trade with Randy and stuff.
Yeah.
we started talking Travis Hunter, and I'm like, that's just like my intuition like flaring off. Is like it's exactly how I felt about Jaden Daniels last year at being pick 3 and 4 in rookie drafts. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the best one in this class and is amazing, or is just like an absolute stud. And like, so I was trying to get Daniels anytime I could. Obviously, it was really hard because he was really expensive, but it was. That's when I'm getting that feeling, it's like, all right, dude, like I gotta get my guy. I'll ignore Travis Hunter's the perfect one because he literally plays defense, and it's like
there's no way he doesn't become a star NFL player. It just doesn't align.
And the best part is it's because he plays defense, and like we've never seen a person like this, at least in like the modern day. That people are like, oh, but like, what if he's just like a corner? Like, I don't know. Like, what if he's just like not good? And it's like, that's a risk I'm willing to take because I think he's going to be like a Hall of Fame type player.
Yeah, I'd rather have him than draft Ted. Like, I just would rather take that risk and reward.
Yeah. No doubt. Like, I've been getting a lot of Ted as well because he is also going at like pick 4, and I got him at 5. I think 2 of the 4 I own of them. But the thing with Tet too, I feel like he fits all like the criteria of like the superstar receiver, but like no one like seems to be caring about him too much. So it's like, yeah, all right, I'll take the. It feels like a little bit of a discount, and he just I don't know if he's Jefferson level. I don't think he is, but he can be really, really solid. So I've liked him.
I'm like, okay, I'll move an entire round back and get like Matthew Golden or just that's also preference. I've heard Golden may still not be that number 1 target there, and Jaden Reed will be or whatever. But I just think they haven't drafted a wide receiver in the first since I don't remember when it was, but it's a long time. So
I love. I like that thing too because that's normally how I play things. But like, there's been the key has been it's been really cheap to trade up for like into those Tet picks and Hunter picks where normally it's not. So I've been getting them, but like in a normal year, if they were like I don't know being priced like neighbors and stuff last year. Like I might actually be again going down like that's what I was doing. I got a bunch of Lad and like Worthy and stuff like that, because I just thought they were so good. And like this year it could be like Golden, Igbuka is like really good, but I just haven't been able to pick them. Like not because by choice, I just haven't had the picks to get them.
I just think people are really are scared of that Hunter playing 2 ways or and so it's not really appealing to move up for them.
Yeah, and when they own those picks, like if you're willing to give them like the amount I've traded from like the 107 to the 103 for like a late second, like it's just ridiculous. That's all that's all they were asking, and you're not gonna get that every time. But so I've been trading up, getting all the Hunter.
Dude, I traded up because Randy traded up in that Guardians of the Galaxy League to get Hunter, and so I jumped and kind of overpaid a little bit, and then he jumped me again, and so he ultimately got him, and I traded. What did I trade? Then I just started trading back and getting a lot of value back because I really screwed myself basically by trading him. I gave. What did I give him? To move up from the 107 to the 105, I gave him. What did I do? No, that's when I started trading back. Okay. It was just stupid. It was like, I traded up 2 picks.
Yeah.
And I gave him the 2026 first, the 2027 first, and then I got the 27 second and the 2026 first.
I see.
So 2 first and a second, and I gave away first.
So here's the mistake, right? Because you made that trade and it wasn't on the clock, right?
Yeah, no, this was like a week before he
I
drafted.
see. Yeah, that's why. Because if you know, because here's like I did the same thing. I traded from 11, where I was just gonna take Harvey there. This was a day after the NFL draft, by the way. There was like no time to even like figure out what was going on, and I have like a legit super team. Like my receivers are, it's like Jefferson, Chase, BTJ, and it's now Hunter. And there's someone else in that room too. I forget who, but it's disgusting. And I was like, yeah, I gotta get Hunter on this team. Like when I was watching, like we do a live draft, like everyone's in the Zoom call, and we just
Oh, yeah.
like do it with a 5 minute clock. And Hunter fell to like 5, and I'm like, dude, I gotta do anything I can to get Hunter on this team. I don't care that I have BTJ. I'm getting up there.
Yeah.
But I paid a hefty price. It was like I paid the 111, which would have been Harvey. I paid Olave. Again, I like Olave, but I was just like, all right, fuck it, give me Hunter. And I paid 26 seconds, so it was a pretty hefty price. But like I don't know, I didn't think it was like an overpay, but I don't know that I needed like to get Hunter on that team. It was just I had to do it. I was just like couldn't believe he was falling.
Yeah, see, Randy had the 101, 103, 106, 107.
I see.
So he was, and so he traded up to 103 to get Hunter.
Yeah.
So then I traded back with Joey. So I traded up for the 105, and then he wanted to jump up because he wanted Henderson. So he gave me the 107 and the 207, and then Blake Corum, and then he got Henderson basically. And then I started just trading back and getting had like 3 or 4 second-round picks because I wanted Golden and Harvey.
Yeah.
And then Dan's him. So I traded back again and got Hayden Higgins.
Yeah. Dan will do that. Dan will definitely snipe you.
I learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
But I kind of recovered a little bit.
That's the key is like, especially like you're saying, you only play in a couple. Like, if you haven't like made, like I'm playing like 14 leagues, which is like crazy, but it's like not. I don't know, like most of the stuff going on is like in the off season when there's like so much time on your hands. But like when you're playing in this many leagues, like you can afford to make some mistakes, but like when I make a mistake that like is clearly a bad like process, like you can just get unlucky. But if I just like make a completely bad process, it's like, all right, I probably shouldn't do that in the future. And it's like, yeah, it's probably, I think it probably was like that bad of a, like you get to like at least learn something, like where you're like, yeah, I probably shouldn't trade it up for like a pick that wasn't on the clock, like in your scenario or whatever. It's like, all right, lesson learned. Paid the price and tried to.
That's my first dynasty league. That one.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot has been learned from that.
Oh yeah. That's like why I'm like the Nazi of like trading my first away. Is one of my first. I genuinely built a disgusting team in the startup. Like it was undoubtedly the best team on paper in the league. The issue is I traded away my first, and probably my second too, and everyone got hurt. Mm-hmm. It was like the year. It was like Christian Watson's second year. I got Cam Akers to piece together. I got Cam Akers and Miles Sanders late. These guys weren't like highly invested in, but we're talking like rounds like 7 and 8, right? Still decent starter picks. They were toast by like week 2, I think, like both of them or something, or week 4. It was like the ultimate run out, and I still had really good players on this team around like the guys that I just listed. But it just like wasn't enough. Like I lost too much, and then I ended up like having to tear it down. I didn't have my own first, and I gave someone the 103 in which was Daniels. But here's the best part: I did end up trading for that in the rookie draft, and I did get Daniels. So like, all right, like I kind of like I kind of like made up for it a little bit, but like I couldn't. I just don't trade my first away like almost ever.
I won't trade first. I'll like, cause I'm like we're trying to like trade away our second next year, essentially for around this spot.
Okay.
But people aren't really biting for it, which is understandable. But
yeah, because when there's players worth a second or even like a little bit more, like
I get it. But I really I don't want to. I don't know. I want to move up and get this player, but I just don't see it.
I see.
I don't see it happening.
I'll show you my. You can see the screen, right?
Yeah.
I'll show. This is the one team like I made an exception for. Like I traded away my first last year, and I'll tell you like this is why I don't trade my first away. Okay, but like here's my team. I did trade away my first like for next year and I got Henry and Kamara in the deal. But this is the squad. Like it's I this is like my prize team just because like it just looks too good on paper. Dan's in here. Yeah.
2 solid quarterbacks, older but solid running backs. I mean, looks pretty solid. What's your bench like?
But I got Hunter on the bench. That's a big one, obviously. I got like some handcuffs, like Braylon Allen for
Braylon.
Here's the big one. I'm a massive like AR guy, and it's like, is he a good quarterback? I hope so, but I know when he's on the field, like if he's a starting quarterback, he's a difference maker. Unfortunately, that's definitely up in the air. I'll admit right now. But at this point,
he's taking second team reps.
Well, he had a shoulder injury is what's happened now. So like he just like isn't practicing.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see on that one. But my boy Njoku on the bench as well. So anyways, yeah. Yeah, dude, I love Njoku. He's one of the I think he's like one of the best tight ends at price you can get. And then I guess the 27 stuff, but like this is like what my team needs to look like for me to trade my first away basically. And here's the best part: I didn't have Henry and I didn't have Kamara last year, but I had like Olave who ended up getting hurt. But like there's some other guys like there's minor changes to this lineup. But the core of these receivers and stuff were all there, and the Hubbard and Hall and Njoku and stuff. This team, it missed playoffs.
Huh.
I had the most points scored in the league.
That's like the worst.
Literally the most, and I missed playoffs. And not only did I miss playoffs, like I came 8th. I didn't even come 7th somehow. Like, I lost like 4 weeks by like 1 point or something, or within like 3 points. It was ridiculous. So like, I ended up giving away the 106 in a trade because that's how I got Jefferson, was sending away my first. So it was like, even when I built like the best team possible on paper, like I still didn't make playoffs sending away my first. So like, I just don't do it. I can't. Yeah.
I don't know. This has been an interesting league.
Yeah, it has.
Like everyone has been drafting differently in some sort of way. Because I'm just not used to that. This is my second dynasty draft I've ever had, so it's very interesting. And I realized, okay, you got to make moves.
Yeah. Now I agree because like normally people are pretty chalky. They're like, all right, I draft like quarterback in round 1, receiver in round 2, and like running back in my next couple picks. But like people have been like Joey, he gets 2 studs and then it's like only running backs after that. And then I think it was like Augie, it's like only running backs as well on quarterbacks. And then there's like freaking Jacob, only receivers. Like I've never seen that before where people are drafting so differently.
I can't do that. I just don't have it in me to draft 5 receivers in a row and I have no running backs. It's just so hard for me to do that.
I understand it because that's how I used to like draft.
Yeah.
But I hate donating money. I can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, you got to go best player available. And that's what Randy keeps telling me. Like, dude, we're not doing this. Reaching like go best player available. We'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude. It's just hard for me to do that, but I get it. Like, I want to fill out my roster, then go best player. That's how I am. It's not a good way to do it sometimes. But.
Yeah. No, I agreed because like it's a mix because you want to still like take a best player available when it makes sense, when it doesn't like completely hinder your roster. Kind of like when I took that's what I thought when I took Fields, because it was like, all right, like I have a lineup already. I don't need to like worry about, I have other picks and stuff in futures, so I can just take them. But like if you need to fill out like 2 running backs and 2 flexes, it's gonna be pretty hard to pass on like a running back when one's sitting right there for you. Even if there's like a good receiver. So like, I mean that's kind of what I did. Like I wanted Downs. I think Downs is really good, but like I'm trying to make up for not having like amazing studs on my team early. Like the Jeffersons and stuff, because I didn't make those picks earlier. Like Devontae Adams is kind of has to play a big role for my team, and I don't think Downs is going to score as many points as Adams. So like it's a risk I'm willing to take. I'm not going to take the best player available technically.
Yeah.
Which would be Downs. So it's kind of I don't think like picking best player is 100% the way to go, because there's a lot of context.
No, I agree.
So
I got a question. Is the guy that you're wanting to get the person that you think I want?
I actually don't think it is. You could probably see something on my screen which might be a little misleading. But I'll explain later. But
wait, what do you mean? Might be
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I mean, I had one guess for who you'd go.
You can give me a guess, because I don't think you're gonna name it. Like I don't think you're gonna guess.
Handcuff. 20 players.
Interesting.
Interesting. No, maybe. Do you not? No.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
Is that not it?
No comment.
No comment.
I'll leave it at that.
No, I love it.
I'll leave no comment. I have a guess. That is not who I think you want. So.
No.
Yeah. I won't guess it, but like I'll DM it to you. I won't.
Okay,
I'm not gonna be selecting him.
True.
Yeah, you don't gotta worry about me taking it. We were in the conversation about like a player like this, so I was just like, no, okay.
No.
See, that would have been funny though, because it's like, it wouldn't have taken anything to guess like who it was. I can't even comment more because I'll leave it at that. It's like that I'm giving away to okay, interesting.
No, because I don't know who. I almost want to tell each other because I want to know if it's the same person. But
I'm open to. We'll figure it out after that. We'll have to. We'll get the sleeper DMs.
We'll see.
We'll
see.
You don't pick after me for a while, eh?
Dude, I'm not till 12-12.
I see, but you could trade up.
I'm trying to. Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I have no idea who you want now, to be honest. Then.
No.
It just made sense. You were talking about. We were talking about players in that like exact realm of like who this guy is, and then you're like, oh yeah, like I wanted like this guy really badly on the board, and I'm like, okay, that makes too much sense.
Yeah,
interesting.
So funny enough, Randy like loves him still.
Okay.
And I'm just like, I've always been so against him.
Okay, that. Yeah, I mean that kind of narrows it down to like maybe a couple people. But I mean, yeah, okay. I'll let me give you a second guess. Based off what you just said, this is like the only guy that made any sense, because you just said still like some. This is the only thing that makes sense to me. That's not it.
No.
What?
Dude, probably because you think this player's ass and I like him, so you're not even looking at him. But you know how I am also, who I like. I'm newer to Dynasty, so I'm not like thinking as much about that
Yeah.
age or whatever. I'm like
Yeah.
more of like right now.
Yeah.
So I have honestly, there's two players I'm looking at. I mean, I
Okay.
love Kelsey at that value personally too. That's
Yeah.
another idea. I think he's great value there. But no.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I don't know. I guess yeah. I'll have to wait and see.
Can I see? No, I'm not gonna say yours. Never mind.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually message you mine. It's gonna be funny.
Cause I'm curious. I doubt it'd be anyone I'm going for.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's funny.
Yeah. 2 picks away here. Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. I sent you mine.
Okay.
I texted you.
It's okay. Yeah. See, like I was looking at like because there was a few kind of in that range where I'm like, I don't know which one it is. You know, I don't have enough like of a. I don't know you enough to. Although now it makes sense because I'm adding up from like your other. From like the other league I saw, so it's like, all right.
Yeah, and
Dan says he knows it.
The player that's like 2 below him too, I like a lot for this year and next year. You know,
Agreed.
Good value. A couple good players around there, but that's funny. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, I do like that other player you mentioned too. I'm wondering where he goes.
Yeah.
And he's definitely been on my board. Like if I got sniped right here, I think that would probably be my pick. You know, the guy you said that was 2 below.
Why is Dan inviting me to a group? He knows.
Oh yeah, he says he knows. He probably does because it's adding up. Oh yeah. Okay, I see your message now too. Dan knows it.
He does know. That's crazy.
Yeah. I've been scrolling down the board.
I think he traded. Never mind.
You had him in that.
Yeah. No. Wait. No. One player in this league is also in that league, but this league he gave. Yeah. I got him from that player.
Yeah, because I just remembered you had him in that. I would have never realized that.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to talk to Seb. He's got basically 2 right at one before you, one after you.
Yeah.
See what.
Trade for the one right before, please.
No. Oh shit.
Yeah, I gotta
help you out and lock it down for me.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where I've been like, do I trade up 1 or 2 spots to secure this guy? I don't know.
I don't think he would. Just don't see him doing that, like that type of player person. But you never know.
Yeah, you never know. That's like the key is you have no clue.
You have no idea.
I might see if I can get a free trade up kind of going here. Give up 2 spots now for a couple later. Because I've been pretty nervous. Like, you know, normally I wouldn't like care if I just like kind of like lost the guy I was looking at, especially like in this range. But like I literally made a trade back specifically to get in this range to specifically take this exact player for my team.
Yeah, and I love it. Like,
yeah, it made too much sense. Like I thought for my team as well the way I've been building it. So yeah, I now I'm like, dude, I can't lose that on that. I gotta get him. So I'm gonna send an offer to Buddy here. See if I can give up like a couple spots later, kind of.
Because it was like that guy that I was talking about. It was like between him and Keon.
Yeah.
That's who like originally I was like, no, we're going this person.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, let's go Keon. So, whatever, you can have Keon. I personally don't like Keon.
Yeah,
I see the value of okay, like either this or we pick a. To me it was we can go Keon, person I want, or we just do a kicker and have like 208, 209, and go with one of those rookies. And to be fair, Keon he was playing like he was getting 7-8 targets a game before he got hurt, so it could work out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a world where he just makes a significant jump. Like it's not impossible. It's like that's what I think that's like the biggest. This is like the most classic like dynasty moment where it's like you're picking Keon Coleman over a guy that like a lot of guys that are scoring points still and can be good for another couple of years. And it's not like he's pretty cheap still. Like it's not like you're breaking the bank for him anyways. But like there's still a lot of players that can help you win a championship right now or even have a decent future.
Yeah.
And like I even just playing a few years of dynasty, I've seen so many of these players because there's so many of them each year, and then like they all have the same outcome. They all end up being Treylon Burks. They all end up being Jahan Dotson and like guys like that that just like are absolutely useless. And like I'm afraid Keon Coleman is like walking down the exact same path. Sky Moore, like it's the list goes on. There's so many of these like bust like guys that are like pretty exciting prospects. So like that's kind of where I'm at when I see a player like Coleman. It's like, if I miss out, I miss out. Like, I'm just going to try not to take what I think is like a losing bet is all. But, if he's going to if he's going to succeed, like, these Buffaloes are pretty good. Like, it's probably where he's going to succeed.
Randy's like, he doesn't really want me trading with Seb because, like, what if this guy on the clock right now takes, and then we're just screwed.
That's right. Yeah, you got to learn the lesson from...
To me, it's like, dude, if so, then I'm just banking on him that not happening. Yeah. If so, then I'll maybe try to trade back.
That's true. You don't lie. You can't give up those 2 firsts again, though, for Travis Hunter and then get sniped,
Yeah. Hell no.
Yeah, not nearly like...
He's the only person who's petty enough to, like, jump me again just to piss me off.
Yeah.
That, like, really pissed me off because I was like...
Yeah.
Like, he'd do it, too.
That's why you're trying to get... You're trying to get that 4th, 5th swap in that deal. Yeah. In the 3-way deal, you're like, nah, dude, I need a 4th for your 5th.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, for my 5th.
I was like, dude, I just don't feel like he's giving enough. He was, but I just want him to give a little more. I want to say I won.
Yeah, it's all adding up now. It's all adding up. I thought that was a pretty good deal. Like, actually, when I was looking at it too, I'm like, I don't know how they're letting you like get Nico for a chain, but I did kind of understand it after the big play bonus thing where, obviously that's like a chain's bread and butter is these making these big plays.
Yeah, I love Nico.
Yeah.
I wish I would have tried to get rid of James Cook.
I see, yeah.
Before A-Chain, but I just don't think that would have been part of the deal.
No, yeah,
but I'm fine with having James Cook while having Ray Davis. I'm not going to try and trade James Cook. I feel like his value is pretty low right now.
It's crazy. I'm the biggest James Cook fader, like, which wasn't good last year. I definitely didn't see that he could score 18 touchdowns after scoring like 4 career ones in his first 2 years. And it's hilarious because, like, he's literally, like, going later than where he was, like, last year. Like, he's, like, worth the same or like, somehow less. It makes no sense.
And he had a great season.
Yeah. Because, like, before it was, like, yeah, he's a pretty good running back, but, like, yeah, he only scores, like, a couple touchdowns. And it's like, all right, like, he's a Buffalo Bills running back, 18 touchdowns. He's efficient enough. And it's like, yeah, okay, like, he might, like, this idea, it's the contract thing. But, like, at this point, like, I'll just take the discount if I obviously, I'll gladly take Walker over him still. Like, I think Walker's amazing. And, underpriced. But, like, honestly, if I was sitting there at 7-3, I probably would have taken...
100%. I'm not very big on, like, oh, shoot, like, there's problems happening. Like, I'm going to avoid this. That's where I'm like, oh, shoot, he's falling. I'm going to, like, jump on this player.
That's generally... Yeah.
I'm getting a great deal.
No, I'm with you, too, because, like, that is a lot... That's basically, like, what I'm looking for, and it could be for a lot of reasons. It could be something like a contract. It could be, like the injuries. It's like for me with Tua, it's the concussions. I'm not like aggressively going after him, but I think he's pretty good in startups, like specifically, because you can kind of like fade quarterback, build your team around that, and then take him later.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're getting a huge like concussion discount on him. McCaffrey's like that again. Like McCaffrey's another injury guy. It's like, dude, I understand the risk with him, and I understand a lot of people have been burnt by him. That's why he's like, like just him burning people in redraft alone probably has him in the 6th round here. But if he's healthy, like I mean, you just got a league winner in the 6th round. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's just like, I don't know. It's just too good of a value for me. Knowing he's like one of the best fantasy running backs, like literally ever. So,
100%, yeah.
I
traded him last year. I traded him mid-season. What did I? Or was it the year before? I don't know. I traded Randy. No, it was last year. Because I traded him McCaffrey and Worthy for James Cook and Garrett Wilson.
I see. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like pretty.
I don't want anything to do with McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I want two, because I was like win now, so like I want 2 players who could start.
Yeah.
Obviously, and Worthy was rocky mid-season, so I was like, I'd just rather have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That team I showed you before, I actually had McCaffrey on that one. That one I missed playoffs with. And I just had to trade him away. I traded him away for like. I traded him away for like basically Pickens, but like CMC just wasn't playing and like didn't look like he was gonna play maybe at all. And Pickens was just coming off like a couple hot weeks, which, I'd way rather have CMC now still, but at the time I needed a starter. Like my flex was like a little shaky, so I needed to make this trade.
And I like Pickens where you got him. I've heard great things about him already through like reports, like seeing a couple things and how he's just been the guy. I mean, it's OTAs. I don't really.
That's right.
I don't really listen to that.
Everyone's in the best shape of their life,
Yeah, it's like 7-on-7.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I do like him a lot this year with a pass-heavy quarterback and a great system.
Yeah.
And the whole season doesn't scare me. I think it's great that he's a wide receiver too.
Yeah, I agree. It's weird because like in the startup, I really wasn't looking at Pickens much. Like, I don't know. I was willing to draft him, whereas like, just the way I was building my team and like the drafts earlier, I just wasn't looking at Pickens when he was on the Steelers. But like now it's okay. Like I can definitely, like I'd love to get him in the 7th round. I'm not gonna like be mad if I don't. But when these picks were like falling to me, I think I had like pick 7-9, but I didn't have pick 7-10. But what I did have was like one at the 8-2, so I traded up like 4 spots to get the back-to-back. Because I just knew, Waddle and Pickens and Metcalf and stuff weren't going to be there. And I also hate Metcalf as much as I do, like, James Cook, by the way. But here's, like, you don't like Metcalf?
No, Randy wanted him where McLaurin was. I just, like, I don't know. I was like, he was wide receiver. I
agree. Like,
now that Rodgers is there, it's maybe a little different, but I don't know.
Here's how I got into, like, when the picks were coming up, I'm like, oh shit, like, I need Metcalf on this team, especially if you look at, like, I don't even have a receiver on my team. Like, I need a guy that could, like, score 10 touchdowns and, like, Metcalf is, like, my candidate for, like, McLaurin this year, and all that means is, like, coming off, remember how McLaurin's like always been disappointing, just wasn't scoring touchdowns and just couldn't put it together. Well, like Metcalf, I didn't realize this, but I just learned this like last week. He actually like had an MCL injury like really early on in the season. I was like, then he missed a couple games, but like he just basically stunk after that, which like obviously shouldn't be a concern now. But like he got off to a pretty hot start before that injury. And there was something last in 2023, I can't remember what it was, but like he has been extremely disappointing. I've wanted nothing to do with him, but like the reason I didn't want anything to do with him was because he was like in the 5th round before, it's like, yeah, I'm not paying that. And then it's like, all right, he's in the 6th, and it's like, I'm still not paying that. And then yeah, he's on the Steelers, but like Pickens is there, but like now his price has been like, It's all the way down to the end of the 7th, which it's like, yeah, okay. Like if Pickens was there, I think that's a fair price. Pickens isn't there anymore, and Rodgers is now signed, and like they paid him a big bag of money. You know, the injury thing last year probably suppressed his numbers.
I love Rodgers.
So, yeah,
I'm taking any receiver that Rodgers is playing for. You know,
I mean, who's he gonna throw it to? Like, I like Calvin Austin. He'll have some plays, but I'm not picking Metcalf because I think he's gonna be like, you know, shooting up the wide receiver ranks. It's like I just think he can have like a pretty solid season for my team. It'd be like I really could think I wouldn't be surprised if he was a top 15 receiver. As weird as that sounds, because no one likes. I don't even like Metcalf. He can just get there with touchdowns and volume, you know, with Rodgers. So I don't know. I kind of talked myself into him being like pretty good, like when I was kind of seeing him fall down the board.
It makes sense. Like, I just look at where he's at and where Olave is. I'm just like, I'd rather get Metcalf 2 rounds later.
Yeah, exactly.
So against Olave, but
yeah, it was hard to pass on Waddle too, because like, obviously Waddle is just like a better.
Waddle, I'm just against him.
I mean, he just, it doesn't matter like how good he is. He just like isn't scoring fantasy points.
It doesn't work. It's just not working, and I'm not willing to take a chance on that. I'd rather have Judy personally.
I see. Yeah.
It's close. I like Judy. As a Broncos fan, I don't like him, but
yeah, that's right.
It's great last year, and it was working, and he's clearly the target there. So.
Yeah, you gotta hope Flacco is the QB. You know, just so absolutely sling it.
And I love
your Shedeur guy.
Late. Yeah, I like him a lot. I love his value, and I just like, and to me, it's like a Travis Hunter, where like there's no way he's not gonna be a starting quarterback.
I see.
I think he's a great player, and it just like has to work. He's Deion Sanders' son. He was hated on. Like, it's gotta work. And dude, it's just a gut feeling. I'm like, dude, I would draft him 100%.
My co-manager in the other league I was showing you, where we had like we took all those rookie picks. That was the one, Joshy.
Yeah.
He's like the biggest Shedeur guy too. He's always he's sending me like Shedeur propaganda and stuff, like YouTube videos and like, oh man, and like I swear when like Flacco like is like benched, like if Shedeur comes in, he's gonna like send me like the like the Hitler's dead meme, where it's like people read it, it's like soldiers reading the newspaper and it says like Hitler's dead on the cover. Like that's what he's gonna send me when like Shedeur gets in there and Flacco's out. I gotta get this like Hitler's dead meme. This is like just too good of a like a meme for fantasy.
That's awesome.
Dead. But yeah, like he's such a Shedeur guy, and I'm like, you trying to talk me into it. Like I'm on the other side of the fence there. Like I get it. I completely understand it, because he should have been an earlier pick, no doubt about that. When I'm like, I'm no QB evaluator, but I was watching QB evaluators and guys that I've been able to trust, for a few years, and basically it was like, yeah, he's accurate, but he's pretty average at a lot of the other stuff. But I'm also looking from like a fantasy window like too, because he could, like in a real life perspective, he could get in there and have a chance to win the job. But like, you kind of got to pick him with like a late second pick right now, and like, I mean, he's got to
right now, like his ADP, he's after like Jalen Milroe, which I'm not big on him. I don't know. I see the rushing upside, but he's not a very good passer. But he's after Tyler Shaw, which I can't stand.
Yeah, Shook or whatever. Yeah, he goes like right in that range. Like, it depends on the draft. Like from what I've seen, he goes like right. You know, he might go 3-1. He might go 2-11, 2-2, or 3-2. So it's like if he was in the fourth, I'd probably be right on board honestly and just take my shots. I did draft a Shedeur. But it's like there's a lot of stuff's got to go right. Like, you know, they literally drafted a quarterback over him, whether he's more talented or not. And so like, and then he has to keep the job if he gets in there. Like, he has to be good, and then he has to be good for fantasy. He doesn't even have to be good for real life. Like, he actually has to like score a lot of fantasy points, and he doesn't really run. So it's like, to me, I understand it if you really believe in him. It's just like I was never too like hot on him, and I actually thought I was gonna like Shedeur more than because like he's obviously like overhated on. Like, there's no doubt about that pre-draft, and that's where I like to like get a discount because it's like, oh, like people hate this guy. Like, if he's good, I'll like him. I'll.
But it just seems like he's still not discounted to where you like.
Yeah, because okay.
What was he? A 6th rounder, 7th rounder?
No, he was a 5th rounder, but this is like you remember we were talking about like intuition before about drafting, and I'll be like, I like to like perfectly mix like intuition with like numbers and like actual like historical data, which like isn't always at the fingertips, but you know, there's some people I listen to and follow, like, you know, like when I'm working and stuff, I'll listen to like podcasts. And like for example, Shedeur, like basically the bet on Shedeur, he could be like the one of one outlier. Like, you know, it's possible. I certainly can see that, but anyone that falls that much in the draft, it just like never happened. Like, they've never never done anything basically. So, I mean, I think a team would have drafted him before the 5th round. I mean, it was just such a huge slide. Like, he generally might not start a game. Though I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I'm just saying, like, it's like I would not also be shocked if he doesn't play an NFL game ever. I'm just not too sold on I don't know, not too sold on him. And
there's a player I want like a couple, like, maybe 10 picks after him, whatever, that I like. I'm told Randy, like, we gotta get him.
See, here's the
later quarterback too, who I love. You know, who could possibly next year be thrown to the guy you drafted. Because I initially wanted say that we didn't get Young. I wanted the guy that just signed with you know, and then the rookie backup for him.
Oh, okay. I think so.
Rogers.
Oh, okay.
Rogers, Will Howard.
Yeah.
That's who I really like, and it's still like a thought for me, like going Rogers late. But I was like, okay, I got Geno now, so not really. But I think that's a great idea for anyone who doesn't. Like for what's his name, Jaleel Mob, whatever that dude's name is, that has no quarterbacks. Go Rogers and Will Howard. Like, I actually really like Will Howard. And now sitting behind Rodgers, I think that's just a great investment for so late.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, especially, dude. If I'm Jacob, like, I'm literally drafting Russ and Rodgers is crazy, or Daniel Jones. Throw him in there because like now it looks like he's gonna start week 1 with the AR injury. Flacco. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Take a flyer on Flacco because he looks like he can start week 1. Like, I'm just piecing together a team. So like. Yeah, I totally get that. Like, if you, especially Rodgers, so cheap, just get a starting quarterback. Then you can get the backup. I was thinking the same thing again, like, because I'm an AR guy. Like, if AR kept coming down, like, let me get AR and Daniel Jones, and like, one of them might just pay off the price for. Yeah, one of them might pay off the price for like the 2, and like I'll always have a start. You know, I don't know. So I was kind of thinking the same thing along those lines.
That was a big thing for me, and then I think Bryce fell at the spot where we like him.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, we'll do that. And then Geno, I think. See, I would take Geno over a couple, like for sure over Sam Darnold. I just don't think Sam Darnold's gonna last there.
Yeah, I can
really
understand that.
He's produced these past 2 years very efficiently, so
Yeah.
we wanted him for a while, but I like the Rodgers and Will Howard little thing. You can get them very cheap, and one's gonna start over the next few years. So
yeah, and then you can also get, if you really want to get the quarterbacks like guaranteed, you can get Rudolph like off waivers, and then you like literally have every possible Steelers.
Someone's gonna start for you, yeah.
Yeah, someone is. I don't mind that strategy too. Like, dude, yeah, when Josh and I did that draft, like we just didn't draft a second quarterback. It didn't really like. Actually, this is a funny story because like it didn't really present itself, but like we were drafting right before free agency, and we had planned to take Fields, and we had told this on the stream before because like it was just ultimate fumble by me. I didn't know that like if you look up free agency start date, it gives you like a date 2 days after like the real free agency window, because like they can like agree to contracts, but they can't sign them until like 2 days later, right? So like I thought free agency was starting like a Wednesday, right? And we're on a Sunday night, but little did I know, Monday morning free agency actually starts. Like you get to know where people are going. So we plan on taking Fields. We're like, why does no one care about Fields in the 11th round? Like he's our QB2. He's about to sign in a couple days. But I traded back like 4 slots Sunday night or whatever the day was. And then come Monday morning, like free agency was just happening. I'm like, what the hell? Like, what do you mean free agency is happening? It happened. It starts in 2 days. Like, what's going on? I didn't know. And then Josh is like freaking out. He's like, man, like why we agreed to like take Fields there, like, and sure enough, Dan's on the clock. 1 pick before where we traded back like 4 slots. The picks took forever, dude. It was like 2 p.m. Dan's on the clock. Justin Fields signs, and he takes Justin Fields like with an hour left on his clock, and I'm like, you couldn't have like made this is like a 1 in a million. Like I got the date wrong. The clock was just like no one was making a pick. It was like brutal. So like I really put us in a hole. Like we would have had a nasty team if we had Fields as QB2. So then we went for Rodgers and we went for a Carr because they were so cheap. And like the 14th, I think we got them both. Yeah. And then Carr retires. And then Rodgers isn't signing. So it was a nightmare.
I mean, it worked out. You still have Rodgers.
Yeah, dude, it was almost like the nightmare of nightmares.
And to make it even worse, it's Dan who did it to you.
Oh, dude, yeah. To be fair, it was like kind of some payback, because in that team where I showed you that my nasty team there where I missed playoffs, I had Penix on that team, and we drafted that as the NFL draft like it ended. Like again, that's like a live draft we do every year, and no one wanted Penix because he was just taken behind, Cousins had just signed and everything. And so I traded up. Like, Dan had to pick at, like, 210 or something. Penix is there at 29. This guy's about to make the pick. I'm like, whoa, like, dude, I'm at, like, 211. Like, I'll give you a 4th. Just take this 4th for free, right? He takes the 4th. I move up, and I just, like, absolutely steal Penix. Like, I was just like, dude, like, I get, like, Penix is a backup right now. But, like, he just went 8th overall, whatever it was, like, 9th. So I just, like, I just, like, knew, like, this is the most insane. I'm literally robbing the draft. And Dan was, of course, going to take him a pick later, so I jumped him out of nowhere and took him. So, yeah, that was a pretty big one. So he got me back on that,
Dude, last year's draft was interesting because, like, I was, like, not big on Brian Thomas at first. I was like, Coleman, like, Xavier Worthy, and so I would draft those 2 like every time before him. And then Randy's like, that's why Randy doesn't really tell me what he thinks anymore. He's like, dude, you need to start getting like BTJ.
Yeah.
I was like, and so then I started sniping him every draft we're in. I'm getting Brian Thomas Jr. like 6th round.
Yeah.
Every single time. I mean, it worked out I had a pretty stacked team in one league.
Yeah, I think you were telling me, the team that you had, like you were taping the chat, like, yeah, BTJ was super interesting because there's sometimes like player, it's like a Booker right now. Like I really like them, or like them. Like I would say I more so liked BTJ. I didn't think he was like amazing hit, but you could see a lot of stuff on tape. Like funny enough, I think this is why like I probably didn't like go to my way to draft him. Other than the fact that like Ladd stuff was going later, which I also really liked and ended up getting like four. I drafted like four Ladds in the rookie drafts, and I only came away with one BTJ in all my drafts. And BTJ, like it was kind of eerily similar. His name's Brian Thomas Jr. Terrence Marshall Jr. was like a couple years before. They both played with Heisman winning quarterbacks that went first and second overall. They both had like a Jamar Chase / like Malik Neighbors ahead of them. They were just like both like late breakouts, like whatever, or not late, but like I don't know, like they were like 1 year wonders in college. So like, and like were really touchdown heavy. So like I knew it was like completely unreasonable, but I'm like, oh man, like I've seen this story like happen before, like Terrence Marshall Jr. Yeah. And they were like being like similar prospect profile. I don't know. I was a little like I couldn't shake that LSU uniform. But yeah, I got him. I got him on like a redraft, thankfully, and Dynasty. I got someone came up and paid Ayuk for him, like 1-for-1 before the season. So I'm like, yeah, take BTJ. I'll take Ayuk, and that went bad. So,
I
yeah,
mean, it's okay.
That's the way she goes.
I sent you what that roster was.
Oh, yeah.
What I finished off with. That was a 10-man, my cousin league.
Okay. Yuck. That just looks like a disgusting dynasty team.
Dude, no, it was a redraft.
Yeah, that looks like you just had every like first and second round pick in our startup.
I'm showing you the two trades that like made those teams. It was after week 1. I traded Cooper Kupp and Pacheco. That was after Cooper Kupp in the same week 1, and I got Nico and on basically.
Jesus.
And then for Jahmyr Gibbs, Chris Godwin was going off. I trade him. That next week is when he gets hurt at the end of the game. I got Gibbs for Godwin straight up.
My goodness. So. Yeah, that Kupp one, like in Pacheco, because Pacheco. No, that's crazy. You traded Kupp and Pacheco 1 week before both of them got hurt. Like they both got hurt week 2.
This was the luckiest like season I've ever had trading.
Yeah,
but that
crazy.
Team looks pretty good. But
oh my goodness, God!
Like I couldn't even really start Brian Thomas Jr. because like Bucky was. Yeah. I picked up Bucky off the waivers. He was dropped, and I picked him. But that's like the best I've ever had.
Yeah, that is insane. I know it's 10.
Keeper, so I'll get to keep. Yeah, it was a 10-man. I get to keep one. I'll keep BTJ like with a 6th-round value.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you get to keep the value. Okay, yeah. What? Where did you get Bucky? Just out of curiosity, like in that. One?
I mean, I would get him as like the last pick because I got him off waivers. He wasn't drafted, so I could get him with like basically a free agent pick. Like it would take my last draft pick spot, but it's like him or BTJ. Yeah. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of a tough one. Like I don't think I have an opinion on that right now, but like maybe, like because like it's. Because I don't know what like the 6th round of redraft like 10-man league looks like right now, but I imagine it's pretty good.
I mean, so like, let's see what the 6th round looks like.
I'm trying to think of no, I don't think a Camaro would be going at that point, but like he might be in a 10-man. He might be like a early 5th or something. I'm just trying to think of.
So for ours, like. The 6th round is like Devonta Smith, Xavier Worthy, Jameson Williams, Waddle, RJ Harvey. So it's like, so tough. Do I go BTJ or do I wait till the very last round, which is like, I mean, it's the 15th round, which is a bunch of no name.
Wow. Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know. Like, I guess, I don't know. There's a lot of time to figure that out, I think, right?
Yeah, so it's like J.K. Dobbins there, Jerome Ford. So it's like BTJ, Jameson Williams, the fall off of that, or the fall off of Bucky Irving and Ford. So it's like,
I feel like if I was in that scenario and I had to make a choice right now, I actually feel like I'd go Bucky just because I'm pretty sure Bucky's going to be like a top. Like if he isn't right now, I feel like he's going to be like a top 24 pick, like in redraft anyways. So he's like not that far behind BTJ, but like you literally get Devontae Smith or whoever you just like listed, Harvey or something. That would be nice to get. I don't know. I mean.
No, I agree because like his ADP is 19 and then Brian Thomas Jones is 12.
So it's like not that big of a gap, and it's a real world where like Bucky just scores more because he's really good. Yeah, that's a tough one though. And like running backs are kind of hard to. I guess it is a 10-man league, so like I don't really know how to like adjust to that. Like I don't know, playing like 12 in a 14, which it always just changes depending on. It's a big change in redraft, like just those two spots. So, yeah, I don't know. That's interesting.
But I might have to. I gotta get to bed.
Yeah, I gotta get up in the morning.
I appreciate you having me though. It was fun.
Yeah, chopping it up. Talk some.
We need to get a Dynasty Savvy like after we draft Discord call and just.
That's right.
That's something I don't know, and then like a R6 custom lobby.
That's right. Yeah, we'll get Trent in there because he's a big Siege guy. I don't think he's hit champ. He was very, very close the last season I played with him. Yeah. But we'll get a Siege game going.
Sounds good to me, but appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for hopping on.
Yes, sir. But I'm hoping your guy falls.
Yeah, I am, man. I'm getting a little nervous now.
I think it will.
The longer you wait, like the worse it is.
Worse. Yeah. You're like, dude, do I trade up one spot and overpay or what?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So, I don't know.
All right. I'll catch you later.
All right, man. Have a good one.
See ya.
Peace. All right. Well, long stream, of course, but I highly doubt anyone is just like watching at this point, but basically just conversing at that point. Definitely a good stream, a lot of fun. If you got any opinion, especially when like Reed and I were talking, just kind of like having a full blown conversation. Like going off topic, like let us know if you got any advice for him on the Bucky versus BTJ keeper. 6th round price for BTJ. Last round pick for Bucky. What else? What were we talking about? Yeah, we were talking about rookies, just like startup stuff. And then, when Dan was on, Dan said, nice job, Reed. What were we talking about, Dan? Yeah, we're talking about some teams, some startup stuff. I don't know. Yeah, if you got any opinions, drop them in the comments afterwards, and we can address them on the next stream or reply back. But yeah, the streams have been going well. The listener league's going well. I'm really enjoying my team in there. Reed, he knows who I want on my next pick. I've been waiting all day, and it's a real thing when you're sitting there waiting all day for your pick to happen, or even more than a day. I traded back specifically to like target this player, and it's just like, Dan, I get it now. It's been taking a while this round, especially. I'm getting more and more nervous that he's gonna be there. So, we'll see what happens. But don't forget to like, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the live stream, the long stream. We gotta get an underdog draft going next time. I was gonna say that we could have done that, but we got distracted, so we'll probably get that rolling next time. But anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. Hitting the hay.